Lots of youth, so let's start with Gateway right off the bat. They only have 5 starters back, folks, so that tells you all you need to know. And a new coach, lots of guys have to step up. 3rd coach in 3 years. So we're going to go with number 5 right there, the running back, Adam White. He's a junior, had nearly 100 yards last week rushing in that loss. All-conference honorable mention at Quad A last season as a sophomore, so you know he can be special. Coach Nola says he's one of his hardest workers on and off the field. We'll take a look at the home team, West Mifflin. We're looking at another running back and another young crew indeed. So we're going to go with what has worked in this building for years. Running back, number 7, D'Angelo Mitchell. He steps in for the record setter, James Wheeler. He's gone 4,000 yards with him. But this guy will get 20 to 30 touches, and that's a lot. That's what they do here. And Coach, by the way, says that Mitchell, who scored 4 times last week, 3 different ways, has more moves than any running back you'll ever see. I can't wait to see.
All right, Charlie, give me your final thoughts.
Final thoughts, I want to see how well the training staff works today. Hydration is going to be key. They're going to see it on both sides, making sure that we keep cramps to a minimum. And let's see mentally whether these teams are prepared for this weather.
We're all set. We hope you're ready. Should be a good one. Gateway pays a visit to West Mifflin. Sit back, relax, and enjoy it. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more on our high school football game of the week. Tonight's Xfinity TV High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you in part by Panera Bread. Start your morning right with Panera Bread Breakfast. Breakfast at Panera Bread is served every day until 11 a.m. Panera Bread. Live consciously, eat deliciously.
Hi, I'm Charlie Batch. Here at the Best of the Batch Foundation, we know the importance of the internet.
I use it to do my homework.
We use the internet for everything.
That's why Comcast offers Internet Essentials. It brings affordable internet into homes that qualify, because your child can really succeed when you have internet in your home. So call 1-855-8-INTERNET or visit internetessentials.com.
At Panera Bread, our new flatbread sandwiches may be flat. The flavors are anything but. So whether it's taste inspired by the freshness of the Mediterranean or the smoky spice of the Southwest, or bold, adventurous Thai flavors, you always get flavor that's anything but flat, and always with chicken raised without antibiotics. New flatbread sandwiches from Panera, each 360 calories or less. Try one today.
All aboard for a ride into the past at the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum. Ride the rails on a 4-mile scenic tour. Check out the restorations in the car barn. Explore all the interactive exhibits and the museum store. The Trolley Museum is a great destination for your birthday party or play group. The Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in Washington County. Go to patrolley.org or call 724-228-9256. More than a ride, it's an experience.
Welcome you back to West Mifflin High School.
At Panera,
Hot and steamy Friday night in September. 83 degrees, you see it there. Well, winds from the south-southwest at 6 miles per hour certainly doesn't feel that way. Ellis Cannon, Charlie Batch with us as well, and I think we can feel that heat and humidity in the air, right?
Charlie, I think it's a total fabrication. It's 103.
I'm trying to figure out where that 6-degree wind is.
Right.
All right, let's talk a little bit about our coaches here. Here's Tom Nola.
Tom Nola's done a lot of great things, obviously. He won 136 times out of 158 at Clareton. And I think we know about the titles at the WPIAL and PIAA level 6 and 4, respectively. On the West Mifflin side, of course, Ray Brazo's been around. This is his second stint here. And you take a look at his success, well, there's a reason to be excited because every year he puts things together. And as a matter of fact, you look at the Big Nine Conference and you think of him as one of the first people you think of, and his record reflects it quite a bit.
Well, we are set, and boys, it's strange to see Tom Nola in black and gold and not black and orange. Now we're set for the kick here. Great to have you with us. Week 2 from West Mifflin High School, and we'll boot it away. It's Jordan Washington who puts toe to leather. And this will go into the end zone for the touchback, and it will be West Mifflin on offense. Gateway won the toss but elected to defer. Now we talk about some of the players, and I know we did in the pregame, but excited to see this D'Angelo Mitchell, guys. Jimmy Wheeler was here for the past couple of years, just a dynamic running back, just a short little back, but boy, just an incredible player that can break plays from all over the field. Excited to see what Mitchell brings to the table.
Watch him in the slot last year. I saw him, I liked him, but now he moves to the main spot. Big key for him is to be decisive, not too much zigzag. Get to the hole and go.
And that is Mitchell, the deep back in the eye, and kind of a mix-up on the exchange, and just keeping it is Carlin Garner. He is back at quarterback at junior, 6'2", 170 pounds, and he'll take it out just across the 20. Let's take a look at our starting lineups here tonight. For the West Mifflin Titans, again, Carolyn Garner, the quarterback, D'Angelo Mitchell, the tailback, and Maurice Johnson in at fullback. They'll wear number 6. It'll be a 2nd down and 8. There you see the offensive line. Dylan Boydos, Corey Zuka, and Akai Reed, the guards, the tackles, Nesby on that left side. On 2nd down, we get a penalty flag just as the play gets underway. And we will sort this out. Somebody may have been in the neutral zone. Let's see. Our referee, Tom Trilly. And they will mark it off on the Gateway Gators for the offensive, for the offsides penalty. So mark the football down at the 27. 2nd and 3 upcoming.
You mentioned Carlin Garner a little bit earlier, Bruce, and of course last year he had all the experience in the world. They're looking for him to build off of that this year in a big-time way.
Well, they'll stay with the I set. Johnson, the fullback. Mitchell, the deep back, and they go with the fullback. And Johnson gets wrapped up and dropped immediately. Good defensive play there. Savon Tipton with the tackle for the Gateway Gators. Let's take a look at that Gator defense who came up big on that 2nd and 3. And there is Tipton at defensive end. Terrell Miles, Hunter Dale, and Alexander McCallum on the other end. The linebackers are Smith, Reed, and Dragovich. And in that secondary, Dominic Fultz, Malik Burks, John Horner, and Aaron McCallum. So a 3rd and 3 after the no gain. And again from the I set, just going to float it out. Gardner has a man behind the defense, and almost a one-handed grab on that far side was Clayton, but he just could not haul it in, and it will bring up 4th down.
Clayton had a couple of grabs last week, including one for touchdown. It looked like he had some separation there, Charlie, and the float was there. Didn't get into his hands. Looks as if he tried to one-hand it, maybe a little bit out of his reach.
Yeah, it was a little tough there because he couldn't locate the ball once it was in the air, and it was too late as it was coming down, and he wasn't able to hold on to it. If they were able to complete that pass, I mean, that was a big game because he had a step on the defender.
Now, Lafredo goes back deep here for Gateway, as the Titans will punt it away on a 4th and 3. A wobbly kick that will come to the near sideline and go out of bounds just across midfield. Let's see where they spot it out officially. Looks to be at the 49-yard line. So Gateway will come out of this with great field position.
Hey, Will, Charlie, we talked about that a lot last week. And, of course, when you start talking about a team like Gateway that's trying to find a quarterback, it's just absolutely imperative to be able to have what Bruce just said, start near midfield is as good as it gets.
And now, what better way for you to come out, you defer, you kick the ball out the end zone, and you go a 3 and out and give your offense great field position to start this game.
And Gateway will open at quarterback. And we were expecting Lafredo. And they open in the I set. They use 2 quarterbacks here on the option to the near side. They toss it back and just nothing there, and reversing, trying to get outside. But finally is Tipton, who's brought down for Gateway as he loses yardage all the way back at the 43-yard line. Let's take a look at the starting offense here for the Gateway Gators. Now, we touched on the quarterback situation. You see Royquez McNair, because they do use 2 quarterbacks. Jaleel Bay and Adam White will be in that offensive backfield. The tight end is Horner with the receivers Aiden Howard and Malik Burns. Up front, the big boys, Anthony Hampton. The guards are Clark and Scacera, and McCallum on the tackle there. On second down, the give, and just nothing there for Adam White. On the exchange, could not come up with anything there, and that West Mifflin defense will push this back even more. It looks to be the 42-yard line. And we just touched on West Mifflin flexing their defensive muscle, and here are their starters. We've got Nesby and Mikkel as the defensive ends. Reed and Boytos are the tackles. Inside linebackers are Bakewell and Zuka, with Galeas and Johnson on the outside. And that defensive secondary, Mitchell plays safety with the corners Garback and Clayton. 3rd and long. We'll call it 3rd and 16 for Gateway as they go shotgun here. And this is McNair in at quarterback, and he'll roll. Looks, dumps underneath, pass complete, and pulled in by Horner. And Horner takes it back out across midfield, but well shy of the first down.
When you talk to the head coach of West Mifflin, it's very clear. I mean, Ray comes right out and says, we have to play team defense. And Charlie, I just saw 3 plays where I saw team defense, great pursuit, several players to the ball. They're not as strong up front as a lot of teams are going to face. They're a little undersized. He emphasized the need to win there. They won that set pretty clearly.
So the Gators will come on, and they will punt it away on a 4th and 8, and nearly getting in there with a piece of it was Clayton. This punt goes inside the 5, and they're going to rule this a touchback. So it will come out to the 20, and West Mifflin will get a second crack with the football. Let's take a look at our keys of the game, and for that we turn to Ellis Cannon.
All right, let's go to Gateway right off the bat. Of course, the visitor. Keep it going. It sounds crazy, but I mean the defense. You know, Gateway scored 6 points last week. Not much offense, but those came on a defensive TD off a turnover. So the offense gets blank, but the Gators would love to have another defensive performance like that, trust me, tonight. Stay the course. 3 coaches, 3 years, a loss to open the season. Head spinning. Time for Gateway to slow things down. Listen to the coach. Don't panic and score. The quarterback is unsettled. There are weapons on that offense, but it does help if somebody can help score once in a while on the offense.
So West Mifflin, 1st and 10, and the give is Mitchell, and here is Mitchell. And he'll fight his way out near the 25-yard line, or he'll be stacked up there.
Let's take a look at the keys here for West Mifflin. Be tough, make room, no mistakes. Be tough. Uniontown controlled the ball at times against West Mifflin last week, in large part because of that size advantage I talked about against the Titans D-line. That unit has to toughen up, not allow drives tonight. Make room. This is West Mifflin, folks, so somebody's going to be fed pork all night. It's going to be D'Angelo Mitchell, and no mistakes. It's a cliche, but they're true. When you look at the offensive end for West Mifflin, you do not want to give the Gators short fields with turnovers, particularly with their unsettled offense.
Here's the toss right to D'Angelo Mitchell, and he's going to get maybe 2 more as he's close to the 37-yard line. Play gets stacked up there as we saw Clayton and Belante check in. They used the receivers to carry the plays in. Get a good look at it here on the replay, and Mitchell just very elusive. Got good speed, good moves, Charlie.
He does. You see offensive line getting a lot of good movement here, allowing them to be in a 3rd and manageable situation. So let's see how they're able to convert here in their second opportunity in this game.
Anything they run right is a big deal. 59, Darwin Spencer at right tackle's a freshman, 6'2", 260. He replaces Fontaine, 54, ACL out for the year from last week.
And here is Mitchell just trying to take it up the gut, and again gets tripped up. Good work by that defensive front of Gateway. And looks like we're going to see the punt team come on once again. So is this that feeling out process we often hear about, Charlie, early in a game, 2 teams kind of seeing what each other brings to the table?
You're trying to get a feel for one another, and you can see on this replay here, they're trying to go right up the gut, which they weren't able to do, and that caused this 4th down punt situation. But as you get a feel throughout this game, you just want to see, okay, what are you going to get defensively? And you can see West Mifflin is trying to spread them out, but Gateway is not going for it, and they're going to force West Mifflin to beat them with the pass tonight.
Corey Zuka with his second punt of the game, and this is bobbled around, fought for, and then finally picked up by Gateway for no return yardage that time, just nowhere to run that time. Malik Burks trying to make something happen but couldn't. But again, Gateway comes out of this with decent field position. If there's anything to be won right now, it's the battle of field position, and that leans towards the Gators.
You have to take advantage of it, though, Charlie. And one of the things that jumps out at me is so far we've seen Mitchell used primarily between the tackles. Now, if you read between the lines, what you hear about the guy, unbelievable moves, very shifty, but likes to go for the home run a lot, wants to get out on the edge. Maybe once in a while it's a good idea to force him almost to drive the ball up the middle, particularly if there's a matchup they like there.
1st and 10. And this is the quarterback McNair in for Gateway. He makes the toss and the catch out at midfield. I think that was Burks that may have went up and got that one. Now it's Horner, actually. Horner, he is a good one. John Horner, 6'4", 185 pounds. He wore 3 last week. He's wearing 6 here tonight.
And it's tough to miss a target that tall. You can see I thought it was initially overthrown. He went up and made an easy catch that looked hard initially.
I agree with you 100%, Charlie. Said hello to him at the 50 before the game. Tall guy at 6'4", as you point out. He was at Renaissance Christian last year. He was at Gateway before that, so he's now back. A lot of teams love this guy's raw talent. Akron, James Madison already offered. Pitt, Penn State, West Virginia interested.
On first down to give to the first man through. And good running room that time as they take it down to the 42-yard line. And it looked to be White, Adam White, the 5'8" junior, the ball carrier. And boy, picks up 7, almost 8 on the first down carry.
Listen, this is an area that's of vital interest for Gateway. They've got some veterans from last year. They may not have a lot of returning starters, but the guys with time, they do miss Robert Hainsey. Big time will not play today at left tackle, so they're going to have Ryan Pitt, a senior, step in, but they've got some experience up front. They got to utilize it.
And they hand it off again to White. And this is White bowling his way for the first down of the night. Gateway gets it as they push it to the West Mifflin 37.
And you can see they're able to get some nice momentum going here on the drive with McNair in this game. And this allows West Mifflin to have to play honest, because you can see they came out, threw a pass versus the first series that they had. They're running the option. So when you're able to now give a different look, it keeps the defensive coordinators honest on the other side.
Again, across the middle, 5'11", 6 foot, 5'11", the 6-foot kid for West Mifflin is a sophomore. Jordan Fontaine being out at 6'2", 265 is a big deal. Eric Nesby in his place.
And here is a second down give, and this one gets stacked up as they get it just inside the 35-yard line. They stick with Adam White, the junior, and he picks up close to 4.
I have to say, Charlie, we always focus on the skill. We always focus, of course, on the coaches, as we should. We focus a lot on the quarterbacks, particularly they're maybe not yet fully developed. But it's not very often you have 2 prime-time offensive linemen or defensive linemen, or in this case both, that aren't playing tonight, and they severely could impact the way this game falls through the course of the night.
And you're right, and you can see at Gateway taking advantage of that. The last 2 or 3 plays, they ran a quick hit and trap and had some success with it.
And as the Gators come to the line, Tom Nola wants a timeout to straighten something out. Royquez McNair, the quarterback we were telling you about, he's only a sophomore. We talk about good size. How's this for a quarterback? Sophomore now, 6'6", 200.
Yeah, he's got size. And again, you know, I think we ought to clean that up a little bit, because that was a situation where it was going to be a game time call. We went with McNair last week. He was 6-10 throwing for nearly 70 yards. He had a pick. He also ran once as well. But Lafredo came in, and he is more of a running guy, Charlie. He had about 17 yards, but he had a fumble running last week. And, of course, turnovers were a critical part of how that game turned out. So a little surprised they start with the upperclassman Lafredo. But, boy, Royquez McNair has got big-time size, and that arm looked good as well.
It really did. And, you know, it's one of those things. Lafredo comes in, he's running the option, so you know defensively, hey, we're just going to play the run and force him to beat you with the throw. And that's why when you can, and literally McNair comes to the game, he's a lot more elusive. He's you know, made a couple plays with his feet, and he's able to deliver the football down the field. So it's a good 1-2 punch that they're able to keep West Mifflin off balance.
And we know Tom Nola will play 2 and 3 quarterbacks at Clareton, so he's going to be adverse to that here.
After the timeout, and they go with the misdirection here with the football is Burks, and he's just dancing looking for something, and well, the Titan defense had enough of that. Coming in to finish him off there for West Mifflin was Dylan Boitos. And Boitos said, I've had enough of this.
You can see right here, they were trying to run the reverse, and they messed the handoff off.
And yet again, you see ultimately, wow, it's real nice heads-up tackle right there. As you point out by Boitos, a defensive tackle, only a sophomore. Lots of guys play both sides, fellas. They're replacing 3 starters on this defensive line. West Mifflin is. Fontaine's out, as I pointed out. Other guys went to graduation. But you take a look, there's a lot of players who play both sides of the line for West Mifflin. And in a night like tonight, we have to keep an eye on that.
So McNair goes shotgun here with the sidecar right, and he'll look to throw on 3rd and long. Sets, fires deep, has a man down the near sideline, but just overthrown. He tried to hook up down that near sideline. Dominic Fultz, the intended receiver.
Nice coverage on the play by West Mifflin. You can see they were trying to run a deep corner route. You was able to get in position and force the errant throw.
Yeah, and you see who had the coverage there, don't you? D'Angelo Mitchell. We talk about him as a running back, but he's back there as a safety. A nice job by him defensively.
Oh, yeah, he's comfortable back there. He had 4 interceptions last year and also a fumble recovery. Talk about field position. Boy, you get inside the 15 or 20 here, Charlie, I think that could be a real big win for Gateway.
The Gators will punt on 4th and long. Garback and Mitchell are back deep for the return. This is Mitchell's going to haul it in at the 1. Nice little sidestep, stays on his feet. Here he comes, right up the middle, and then kind of loses his footing as he's finally chased down that time. It was Chad Redker who came up to bring him down.
Charlie, I'm going to ask you a hypothetical question. Now, let's go for a second. D'Angelo Mitchell knows what he's doing, but I got to ask you, do you like to see guys catch punts at the 1-yard line?
No, that's something that you're taught. Do not let the ball inside the 10-yard line. Don't catch it. But if you do, you better make a play. It's that no. Okay, yes, allow. But you can see there was a penalty on the play, and I think that's why he sprung him open. I think they'll end up calling this play back.
Hey, Sarah Servetnik is our 4th member of our crew tonight. She's on the sidelines, and she's checking in with the cheerleaders. Sarah.
Thank you, guys. The Gateway cheerleaders are behind me, and it may be hot out today, but they've been full of energy already tonight, and they have a great Comcast cheer ready for you guys. All right, ladies, ready to take it away?
C-O-M-C-A-S-T. Watch Comcast. C-O-M-C-A-S-T. Watch Comcast. C-O-M-C-A-S-T. Watch Comcast.
Good job, ladies. All right, back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Now, after the penalty, you see where that football is now, don't you?
1-inch line.
That's fun as a quarterback, right, Charlie? You know about that.
Hey, you don't have many time to work on backed up football. You see an incomplete pass there. You don't have a lot of time in practice to work on backed up ball. So your goal is to get a first down, maybe get close enough to allow at least some room for your punter to punt the football away.
And he was looking right there for 17, Kevin Garback, speed merchant, speed freak. He loves it. The thing about him is he's a big-time track and field player, 17 right there, 5'11", 165. He was the MVP, actually, at I believe, the Butler Invitational. Has had hamstrings in the course of his high school career. He's 100% now ready to go.
So Carlin Gardner will try again. 2nd and 10 from his feet are in his own end zone. Not fun. Turns and gives. Mitchell just going to kind of get some room for his quarterback as he kind of leaps over the pile there out close to the 2, maybe the 3-yard line. So Mitchell just with a short game.
Nothing real special here, Charlie. Playing it very conservative. Once again, just trying to get the ball out of the shadow of the goalpost. I think this sets up what could be a very, very important play here in the first quarter.
It really is, and you can see they tried to go for the juggler early on in that first play. They tried to hit the quick slant, but the timing was off, so they weren't able to hit it in the seam that they were looking for, and that put them in a bad situation on 2nd down. But here, allows yourself a little bit room. Let's see if they're willing to go up top or they just play it conservatively and hand it off.
Mitchell, the deep back in the eye, but Gardner wants to throw down that far sideline. Has his man, pulls it in. That is Kevin Garback, just who we talked about. And it works, and they pick up a huge first down out to the 30.
And here's what's interesting, Charlie. You just mentioned something that was very, very on point as usual. You talked about, just missing that seam route. If you ask Kevin Garback about his starting quarterback, he said, I've played with him my whole life. I got tremendous chemistry, enough chemistry to run over Tom Nola, if you ask me. But I'll tell you what, he does that, and it almost looked like those guys have been playing that pass and catch their whole lives.
They are, and you can see work through just on the outside there so the corner couldn't make a play, and it allowed them to pick up 30 yards on the play and switch field position for them.
Absolutely right.
28-yard pass and catch, and here Gardner back to work and back to Mitchell and stopped in the backfield. Looks like he'll lose a yard back to the 29-yard line.
See, one of the things that I want to see here, you talked earlier, Ellis, about running in between the tackles. But when you have a guy like Mitchell, you want to get him out on the sweep so he can see the defense, eye it up, make one cut and go. And you haven't seen that tonight. So let's see if they can, go use that to their advantage instead of trying to continue to tack down in between the tackles.
All right, I'll play OC as well. What about the idea of ultimately doing the play action, allow a dual action player like Carlin Garner 12 and give him the opportunity to make a play as well? Maybe with the read option, something allows him to get out to the edge. Last year, he was very comfortable doing that also.
It is, but you have to be careful because they hit Gateway over the top for 28 yards, so defensively, they're not going to allow big plays anymore.
Garback in motion. Back to throw Garner. Now scrambles to his right. and gets greeted rudely, and the football pops up, but the whistle blew. This ball is dead. The whistle blew. They had the play down. May get some arguments on that far sideline, but clearly there was a whistle and the play was dead, so West Mifflin keeps possession.
Ooh, that was a tough call.
It was.
If you look back, and I don't know if we're going to get the replay here, but it looked like that ball came out on the initial hit and the referee didn't see it and gave an early whistle. So take a look and see if you can hear the whistle versus when the ball comes out.
Good play here just to kind of stretch things out a little bit, but then boom, right there, you're right, Charlie. He takes the big hit, but there was clearly a whistle.
Yes.
So it comes back to it was just when the whistle sounded. So now a 3rd and 11 for West Mifflin. And the draw play. Mitchell slips one tackle, dances out across the 35, well shy of the first down though.
Offensively, they did what they needed to do. They were able to switch, get the big gain with 28 yards, change the field position for your punter, and if they can turn around and change and get them pin Gateway back, it would be an interesting second quarter.
Well, we've played one here at West Mifflin, and it's scoreless. The West Mifflin Titans and the Gateway Gators. It's week 2 of high school football here on the Xfinity High School Football Game of the Week.
At Panera Bread, our new flatbread sandwiches may be flat. The flavors are anything but. So whether it's taste inspired by the freshness of the Mediterranean or the smoky spice of the Southwest, or bold, adventurous Thai flavors, you always get flavor that's anything but flat, and always with chicken raised without antibiotics. New flatbread sandwiches from Panera, each 360 calories or less. Try one today.
Since 1984, Angels Place has provided free childcare and other supportive services to parents who are low-income students. Our services include early childhood education, parenting classes, career exploration, tutoring, and much more. Our goal is to enable student parents to complete their education, secure lucrative employment, and become independent, successful members of our community. To support Angels Place or for more information, please call 412-321-4447 or visit us online at angelsplacepgh.org.
Hi, I'm Charlie Batch. Here at the Best of the Batch Foundation, we know the importance of the internet.
I use it to do my homework.
We use the internet for everything.
That's why Comcast offers Internet Essentials. It brings affordable internet into homes that qualify, because your child can really succeed when you have internet in your home. So call 1-855-8-INTERNET or visit internetessentials.com.
Have an extra vehicle that you can't trade in or sell? Donate it to Goodwill. One phone call to Goodwill, and our friendly tow truck drivers come to you. Our drivers make it easy, and the IRS still allows a tax deduction for donated vehicles. Donations support Goodwill's mission of helping people find meaningful employment. Call 888-3040-CAR or visit us at www.goodwillswpa.org. Goodwill. Good cause.
The Xfinity High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by the Best of the Batch Foundation, providing student scholarships, family support, and community resources that stimulate success. If you'd like more information, visit batchfoundation.org. And of course, Charlie Batch alongside. How are things going with that?
Everything is well. We just spent this week giving out 2,200 batch packs and school supplies, so that was good, along with 200 teachers' bags, so that was really good. But we're preparing for our In the Pocket event Monday, November 10th. Our 8th annual In the Pocket event. We are looking forward to that. That raises money for our reading computer literacy programs. And if you want any more information, you can follow batchfoundation.org.
We begin the second quarter with a punt as West Mifflin boots it away, and some confusion as the Gators let it go all the way back inside the 20 on the return. And bringing it back for Gateway is Mike Lafredo, one of Gateway's quarterbacks, the return man there, and he takes it out close to the 30-yard line. It's a return of punt of 46 yards, excuse me. Well, hey, don't forget, get social with the Xfinity High School Football Game of the Week. You can find us on Facebook at HS Football Game of the Week, and you can follow us on Twitter as well. Just go to @HS Football PGH. And also look for behind-the-scenes photos on Instagram at HS Football PGH. Xfinity On Demand, your home for high school sports. First down play for Gateway, and it's a give off that left side. And fighting out close to the 34-yard line and brought down there, I believe once again, was Adam White, and it was. And White picks up close to 5.
You know, we talked earlier about the loss, obviously, of Jimmy Wheeler and what that means to West Mifflin. But when you take a look at what Gateway lost, we mentioned they have 5 total starters back. Their starting quarterback, 25 touchdowns. Their leading rusher, who had 300 yards plus. Monte Nicholson, one of several Division I guys that moves on. He to Michigan State. 4 total guys go to Michigan State at wide receiver. Really rebuilding.
Give this time goes to Gateway's Dylan Smith. He's a big senior, 6'2", 230. He rumbles across the 35, out close to the first down. Looks like he's just shy, though, as he's just shy of the 39-yard line.
You see another quick hit and trap right here. They had success in this within the first quarter, and they're coming right back to it until West Mifflin proves that they can stop it. You're going to see this a lot throughout this game.
The Gators now with a 3rd and short. Again, AAA matchup here. You've got West Mifflin out of the Big 9, and Gateway moving down for so long. A member of the highest classification, of course, Quad A. Now playing AAA football, getting used to the new Greater Allegheny. And here is a give to White in the backfield, and they won't get the first down. They'll lose yardage back to the 36.
Yeah, give credit right there to the DT we mentioned earlier, 52, Dylan Boydos. I mean, he had just exploded Charlie. He didn't get blocked, and he made sure he didn't miss.
That's how you make a play, and that's disappointing for Gateway when you're sitting on a 3rd and 1 and you can't convert. And that's where you see a change in momentum right there, because West Mifflin comes off the field, minus 4-yard gain, and they're getting the football back.
And to your point, Bruce, of course, you mentioned about the change in classification since 1958. Whatever the tallest classification was, Gateway was in it. So moving down is a big deal, and they'll be there for 2 years.
Dylan Smith with a low end-over-end punt. Everybody will back off and just let it settle. And it finally does as it rolls inside the 20. And Gateway will take every inch they can. And it's finally down back at the 18-yard line, a punt of 46 yards. A game of punts so far, guys.
It is.
A couple of first downs, but that's about it.
It is. It's going back and forth, you know, trying to get a feel for one another. And again, it's going to be the first team to make the mistake and able to capitalize off of it. But Ellis, I want to go back to one point that you talked about with Gateway moving down for 2 years. For people who are watching this and not familiar with what does that mean?
Enrollment numbers 9 through 11, grades 9 through 11. They just simply didn't have enough numbers to qualify for Quad A, so they get moved down. And when you do that, it's for a minimum 2 years, mandatory 2 years, however you want to put it, and then they'll reevaluate.
Okay.
And if I can't point out the defenses, Bruce, you had talked about a moment ago, we have a penalty here.
Procedure penalty on the Titans.
You definitely, and that, again, now they're getting pushed right back again, and they've started a few drives back there. We have Ken Baker here doing stats. I'm sure he'll give us the average starting spot here soon, and it's not been real nice as he glares at me. But I know this. The linebackers are all new for Gateway. The defensive secondary is all new for Gateway. They've got one guy over there, McCallum, 66, on the right side, who is really their only guy back who's a full-time returning starter.
1st and 15. And on the option, they give it. First man through and across the 15. Maybe get a couple. That will be it.
And anytime you have a new coach like Gateway does, it seems like the defense always comes around a lot faster because you're just going to put guys in a situation to make plays. But offensively, you have to now, you're maybe a little hesitant because you're unsure of the plays, the timing of what the plays are supposed to be, and that's why you see some struggles offensively for teams.
I guess the quarterback has a lot to do with that as well, and just has promised and advertised. Kenny Baker comes up. Gateway has started at its own 39. On average, the Titans, their own 14. And they're just beyond that right now. So it's tough to do anything offensively when you're pinned up like that, Charlie.
Sure is.
Maurice Johnson and D'Angelo Mitchell in that I set, the motion man to the center. And looking to throw Garner. Here comes pressure. Eludes it. Has plenty of time. Now is going to tuck it in and run and pick up some yardage out close to the 35-yard line. Gators will finally push him out over there. Good pursuit that time by Gateway. Chasing him out was Malik Burks.
Watch Burks come up here from his safety spot. He'll read the play very well. And, of course, the quarterback looked like, I'm looking, I got a guy deep now, I'm going to tuck it when he does. Here's Burks. Burks last week had the play of the game for Gateway. Had a couple of tackles, but more importantly, of course, he had the 63-yard return off the turnover for the touchdown that accounted for their only points.
And West Mifflin wants a timeout here. Ray Brazo will talk things over. I think he'd love nothing more than to change this field position because they've really been pinned deep And Charlie, I mean, you've played quarterback. You know about this position. It really limits your playbook, doesn't it? When you're pinned deep, you can't do a lot of things that maybe you want to do. I understand West Mifflin likes to run the ball, but it still limits your playbook, doesn't it?
It does limit your playbook, and one of the things that you can't happen, you can't worry about making mistakes. And when you're in a position like that and you have Garner trying to make a play, he had to elude a defender, that's where your receivers have to help you out. Garland would roll to the left. He still had Clayton, but the receiver needs to know that, hey, he's not going to be able to throw the ball 50 yards down the field. Break off your route, work your route back to the quarterback, and if he's able to do that, Garner can deliver the football. But until then, hey, it makes Garner a one-dimensional quarterback because he has to run the football in that case.
Right, 50 yards when he's running. I mean, it wasn't he was standing in the pocket. He'd have to put the brakes on. I tell you the other thing, Charlie, and I know we're going to jump into this in a second, but we take a look at West Mifflin. It's not as if they have, and I say this with all due respect because it's a key to their success, it's not an overcomplicated playbook to begin with.
Right.
So if they're going to have fewer choices, that means fewer chances to give the ball to the running back.
Right.
High school sports fans, Xfinity TV sports telecasts are available for purchase on DVD at pghdvd.com. You can order a copy of tonight's game right now. Go to pghdvd.com, select the game you want. It's just that easy. Xfinity TV on demand, your home for high school sports. So the timeout by Ray Brazo and the West Mifflin Titans as they stare at a very big 3rd and 3 scoreless football game here in the second quarter. So Carlin Garner settles in, that eye set look, and they give it on the delay, and Mitchell stumbles just shy of the first down, I believe. See, the spot looks to be that 27-yard line. Looks like he needed the 28, and he will be a yard shy.
Damian Reed, 32, in on that tackle for Gateway, one of the new linebackers. They run the 4-3, and he's the middle guy there. So he made the right read, and he didn't get tricked and had his nose right in there, Charlie, to make the tackle.
I wouldn't have thought coming to this game we would have had the punters getting their workouts in the first series that they're doing. I mean, he's really getting their, he's really getting a workout. So let's see if he can actually flip the field position for West Mifflin.
Corey Zuka with the end over end kick. Good chance at a return here for Gateway. And on the return, they'll bring it back. Lafredo, and Lafredo will fight his way out to the 48-yard line. Actually, check that. The return, yeah, that was Lafredo on the return. That was right. Well, let's find out what's happening on the sidelines. Of course, Sarah Severtnik is with us. Sarah, what's happening?
Thank you, guys. Behind me are the West Mifflin cheerleaders. Earlier, we heard from the visiting Gateway cheerleaders. Now the hometown girls have a very special cheer for us. You guys ready? I want to hear you be loud. Let's go.
S-M-I-N-I-T-Y, Xfinity Comcast, we love you guys.
They are very loud down here, as you can hear. Back to you guys upstairs.
Thank you, Sarah. We can hear them, certainly. 1st and 10, Gateway. After the punt, they begin at their own 49, and the give off that right side, and this is Smith. And Dylan Smith, the big senior, rumbles inside the 45, down near the 43-yard line, where the Titans will bring him down there.
Had nice size, a 6'2", 230. We call him on the defensive end, but you know what? He's a guy that looks like he likes to get between the tackles. He likes to get bumped around, and he's got no issues with that. Charlie, quick hitter once again.
Quick hitter, and you can see Smith gets up, pounds his chest, and he lets coach know, hey, give me the ball.
He wants pig. He wants pig.
2nd and 2 after that gain of 8. No, we've had 7 punts. That pretty much recaps the first half so far. Wow.
Those guys are sweating more than us.
McNair hands it off one more time to big Dylan Smith, and Dylan's going to be just shy of the first down. Actually had his helmet come off here, and he'll have to replace that before he can return.
Well, I thought he had the lean on that a little bit better of a mark than that, but he's a good yard and change short.
Yeah, the nose just barely touching that 42.
Right now, 0 for 3 is what Gateway is on 3rd down, so here's an opportunity to break that. That's pointed out by Kenny Baker.
It's hard to run the read option when you don't block the 3 technique.
Yeah, Reed got in there real quick.
Absolutely.
I mean, and you know what, give Smith credit, because he yards after contact, he was able to get something after he took the bump, and we get a timeout on the field one more time. So a big 3rd and 1. We saw West Mifflin use the timeout when they had that 3rd down. I think both these coaches kind of realize this is an important juncture in this game. Obviously, Tom Nola likes the field position so far. I don't know if he's certainly pleased with anything else, but he certainly has to like field position.
I think what he'd love to be able to say is that he got that third key we talked about, and that is to have his offense score. I mean, the good news is he's headed toward the sixth quarter without having his defense give up a touchdown. The bad news is his offense hasn't scored a touchdown in that time frame. But like you point out, Charlie, particularly with the quarterback situation in flux, the defense typically a little bit further ahead than the offense.
Now, catering for tonight's telecast provided by Panera Bread. Start your morning right with Panera Bread breakfast. Breakfast at Panera Bread is served every day until 11 a.m. Panera Bread, live consciously, eat deliciously. For more information, visit PaneraBread.com. And on a 3rd and short, let's see what we come up here. We had a big pile here. You can see it was McNair, Raquez McNair, the big sophomore quarterback. When you're 6'6", 200 pounds, you should be able to get that, right?
You should be, but I think when you look at it, both offensive guards have to squeeze down in order to allow McNair to get in there to get for that easy first down, because there's no way you're 6'6" and you're not able to get forward, but it comes down to offensive line having to help you, and he didn't get much help on that in that situation.
Be truthful with you, I liked him calling his number before the snap. I'd like to see him get out on the edge with that type of size.
Well, here's McNair. The play action, sets his feet nicely, fires it down the middle, and has a man, goes up, pulls it in, and that was Horner once again. Second big catch for the big guy, 6'4", 185, and Horner pulls it in.
Boy, I tell you what, it's very interesting when you got a guy 6'4", 6'5 plus and being able to throw to a guy 6'4", Charlie. And literally, this was a very well thrown ball, sets his feet, he has his weight go through. You could take us through that progression, but I know the kid was 6'6" or 6'4", had his hands up to about 6'7".
When you're able to run the football, that play action pass right there is allowed one-on-one coverage on the outside, and he was able to take advantage of it, and it puts Gateway in great field position in the red zone.
Yep, 1st and goal. Football at the 7.
You could see why schools like this Horner kid a lot, particularly here in the red zone.
Power eye. And a whistle just as the play gets underway. And did we have movement, or did someone jump offside?
Looks like you're going to have offsides on Gateway, and that's something you can't have happen when you have pre-snap penalties. Nothing takes place before the ball snap. You can't afford to jump offside. You need to listen to the snap count.
It was actually procedure, though. They called it illegal procedure on Gateway, so they're going to move it back. So on Gateway. You know, you talked about that great pass play that McNair, and you talked about the technique and all that. You know, there's a long argument. Does the quarterback make the receiver, or does the receiver make the quarterback? But I won't, you know.
No, you won't do that.
I won't ask Charlie for an unbiased opinion.
Majority of the time, the receiver makes the quarterback look good.
Okay.
And as a former Pop Warner All-Star wide receiver, doggone it, I can tell him that.
1st and goal. The football moved back to the 12 after the procedure. And the deep back, this is Adam White, and Adam White will bull his way close to the 7-yard line, pretty much get back what they lost on that procedure penalty.
White has no problem running the ball up the middle. Like I said, last year he got just enough experience. They really needed somebody back there with experience. And last year he put together about 300 yards and just enough touches, over 50, so that he came into this camp knowing that he was going to be the guy and not have to really worry that much. Other than the fact, of course, it was the 3rd new offensive system in 3 years. But as an upperclassman, he knew how to handle it.
From that power eye, and they give it once again to Adam White. And off the left side, he bulls his way even closer to the goal line. Looks to be stacked up there at about the 2, maybe 2.5.
You see coming right up off the left side here. Power football straight downhill, and that is one of your keys. You talked about the offense has to score. This is a point swing changer right here, and if you can put 6 points on the board versus a field goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I'm also looking at, as I said, the makeup of that line, and right there, the push definitely was in favor of the offensive line. I saw defensive players going backwards. That's always a plus. Here's a chance to put it out to break that string.
3rd and goal from the 2, and this play will get stacked up off that left side. No signal yet, and this will be shot. So it will be decision time for Tom Nola.
If the way my defense is playing right now, I would go for this because you know worst case scenario, you're going to pin them back on the -1 yard line. Go for it. You got nothing to lose on when you're playing on the road right now.
Charlie, there was a great play here with a long pass by the quarterback to the wide receiver, but both defenses played very well. I mean, this drive started at the 48-yard line. So, you know, it's not as if they've run up and down the field on each other. I think when you're also in that position, and you make a great point about Gateway's defense, I don't know how many times Gateway's going to get down here either.
Right.
And so I think you got to go.
You have to go for it.
We're going to get a timeout as Tom Nola wants to talk it over. He had his quarterback, Royquez McNair, right there with him. They were talking, trying to come up with it. But again, you have a quarterback that's 6'6", 200 pounds. You've got White, who's shown the ability the last couple of runs. I think you're right, Charlie. I think you go for it here. At the very worst, you pin them extremely deep in their own end. But a scoreless football game, points obvious coming at a premium here with 3 minutes left in this first half.
And either way, I think you come in, you talk about it, line up. Maybe if you get one-on-one on the outside there, maybe you throw the jump ball up. If not, you want to know what? Just play power football and see if your line can get the surge and put your team in the end zone. So it's good. It's a tough decision out here, but if I had to really look at it the way that the Gateway is playing right now, I think they run this football.
And I tell you what, I mentioned Robert Hainsey earlier at 6'4", 260, a sophomore. He's got Division I schools sniffing already. He was an honorable mention player last year at the Quad A level, not in tonight's game. And you talk to people at Gateway and they'll tell you he's as good as, if not better than anybody they have. Would he have impacted the game beyond this? Absolutely. But boy, when you see a goal line situation, that comes through your mind.
Absolutely it does.
And there you see the offensive juggernaut these teams have been. 86 total yards for the Gators, 58 for West Mifflin. Right now, Gateway's just only worried about a half a yard.
A little trickery going on with the formations.
Yeah, 4th and goal. Burks is actually lined up to take the snap. West Mifflin wants a timeout. They actually walked across the line and take the timeout here. So Ray Brazo will get his defense set as Tom Nola goes into his bag of tricks.
I like the play. You can see if they were able to go, they had exactly what they were looking for on the left side with your whole offensive line standing over there. So Coach Brazo, his first look that he had to see throughout this year with that crazy formation. Let's see if Gateway goes back to the formation.
See, if I'm Ray, I'm not talking to the players. I'm going directly over to the stripes and saying, seriously? What was that? Is that legal? I've never seen that in my adult life.
It was funny because when I was at Eastern Michigan, we had plays out of that formation.
Really?
And you put your line all the way to the left, you leave your center and your running back just inside the center, and at that point you're counting numbers. If you get one-on-one on the outside with the receiver, guess what? We're going to throw a jump ball. If not, you have 2 other plays that you have. So you basically have 3 plays in that particular formation, and you're just counting numbers, and whatever your best matchup is, that's the play that you run.
How'd you run it? Did you have fun?
We actually did, and it was funny because we actually played at Syracuse on the road, and we lined up in this formation. We shifted, left the running back in that formation. We rolled out. Nobody accounted for the running back because you lose count of who your eligibles are. And I rolled to the right, and I threw a pass back to the left of the running back standing there wide open. So it works, trust me.
All right, good stuff, Charlie.
Now, after the timeout, they go more conventional here. McNair under center, power I, the turn, the give to White, and he pulls his way in. Touchdown, Gateway on 4th and goal.
It's going to be Adam White. And you know what? There was no trickery on this setup, lineup, or execution, Charlie. Run it right up the gut.
That's it. And you can see defensively, they were looking for the trick formation again. And the Gateway just lined up, played power football, and they was able to surge into the end zone.
And once again, Eric Nesby there, 58, trying to come in on the play. He's in for Jordan Fontaine. Again, another critical loss on the D-line for West Mifflin.
And now they do shuffle it out of that formation, and they toss it right to Smith, and he takes it in for the 2-point conversion. So just what we talked about.
You have it. If you have your numbers over there, you run a play, and Gateway was able to take advantage of it.
So Dylan Smith powers it in, and it's 8-0 Gateway.
I mean, there's probably offensive players on that unit right now that feel like they're in the Arena League. I mean, they got 8 points on the board. It's got to feel, at some level, Charlie, and I would not imagine too deep a level, there's got to be great satisfaction with being able to say, we just executed a drive for a touchdown, regardless if it was a 50-yarder or not.
Especially in practice, you look at that formation, you're like looking at coach, you're saying, this formation won't work. You know, until you could put it on film, actually go back and watch it, now the players will believe in that, and they'll start saying to the coach, we need more plays out of that formation.
Charlie, one of the things I brought up was for Gateway was to basically stay the course. 3 years, 3 coaches. They get to the quarters last year, but obviously Tom Nola coming here was seismic. They lose. They don't do much offensively at all last week. they got to stay the course, don't they? And just say, look, we got to buckle down and believe in these guys.
They have to, and I think when you're from a player standpoint, you know you have a proven coach coming in here. You know he's won and he knows how to win. Now the players just have to buy into it. And when you talk about changing, that's where with changing philosophies offensively, they're going to slow it up. But look for this team to gain momentum throughout the course of this year.
So the Gators will boot it away. Mitchell will settle under this for the return. No, it's Fay actually takes it at the 5. Across the 10, up the near side, hit at the 21, and will be dropped immediately on the return there. It was actually, I believe, Mark Foy who made the return for the Titans. You know, we go back to that 2-point conversion, guys. There's only one guy in a white uniform that doesn't like that play at all.
Who's that?
The kicker.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Doesn't do wonders for your confidence, does it?
He's a good kicker as
Yes,
well,
he is.
Jordan Washington.
As long as you execute the play, then you're fine. But if you don't execute, then the kickers are very upset.
There you see our scoring drive. 8 plays, 51 yards. Capped off with the white 1-yard touchdown run. Covered 4 minutes and 47 seconds time of possession. And here is a sack as they get to Carlin Gardner. And all of a sudden, Gateway has turned things up a notch as they come with the defense now.
See, he actually had him open, but they just weren't able to protect him.
Well, I'll tell you what, and he's having himself a great game. That's Savon Tipton. We've called his name repeatedly. That's a great play.
One of a lot of juniors and sophomores on this team, and it's ironic because literally as that play was being snapped, Kenny gave me the note that says best starting position for West Mifflin. And here they come out and they lose 5 in that very first sequence.
Yeah, back to the 16-yard line now, so 2nd and long. Nearing 2 minutes left here in this first half. Garner again under center, the same formation, that high set with Mitchell, and they'll turn and give it to the fullback. That's Johnson, and Maurice Johnson will be stacked up near the 18-yard line and brought down there.
And you can see, I want to see how that formation, that swing and gate formation, allow for Gateway to show it. That forced West Mifflin to call a timeout. So now let's see if Gateway, if they're able to stop them here, can they now call a timeout and set up your punt return? You have nothing to lose at this point, and see if you can put some more points on this board before the half.
Sure, that was a big win for a big win all the way around for Gateway to be able to score a touchdown, punch it in on 4th down, cost the team a timeout, and leave a lot of people scratching their head, not just tonight, but maybe down the road as well, because it's on tape, as you pointed out.
So 3rd and very long. They need to get to the 31-yard line for this first down. Garner's going to heave it that way. Down the far sideline, goes up, makes the catch. That is Garback. Garback still on his feet. Finally wrestled down at the 48-yard line of Gateway. The tackle applied by Arrington Johns, the big senior safety, made the stop, but the pass and catch covers 34 yards.
He's a big play type of guy. We talked about his speed earlier. Give the quarterback here, Junior, the credit for throwing it up there and giving this guy a chance to make the play. Had the separation, Charlie. But you look last year what Garback was able to do, nearly 500 yards rushing with a completion average of 29.9. That means he made some big plays.
He did, and Garner did a nice job of laying that ball out there for him to make a play.
1st and 10. We're under a minute. Garner's going to run, and he'll shuffle his feet and dive inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line, as he's close to another first down. See if we get a measurement. I don't think we are, though. Now, he needs to get to the 38 now that I look at it. Football's only at the 39.
Not an enormous Nico Law type of dual threat guy, but enough of a threat in both departments to keep teams off balance. And I've been waiting for something like that, and obviously creates a real favorable down to distance.
And to throw again. Guess who he's going for? Garback, and had to go off his hands and incomplete down at the 10. Double coverage down there. Good work that time by the defensive unit for Gateway, and I believe it was Horner. You know, we've called his name offensively. A couple of big catches, but he comes up defensively here. Watch this.
Coming right at us.
Got his hand on it.
Hey, if you're going to take that big hit at the end, you might as well catch the football. Don't let it go through your hands.
Last week, by the way, Horner had 10 tackles to lead the crowd. So, I mean, it's not as if he's afraid to be physical in either the receiver or defensive position.
So the incompletion stops the clock. 16 seconds left. A 3rd and short for West Mifflin. They trail 8-0. And here's Carlin Garner to throw. Stays, fires it, just heaves it into the end zone. Has a man behind everybody, but it's overthrown. Oh, brother. Clayton was there. Howard Clayton, the senior, was behind everybody, had plenty of room, but the pass just overthrown.
I don't think we're going to see many more opportunities, Charlie, with a receiver this open.
You don't. Garner did have a man in his face, so he wasn't able to set his feet as he threw the pass. But he just ran out of real estate back there, and that's something that just was unfortunate because it now could be a 7-point swing if they're not able to score on his 4th down.
Let's see if this is the final play of the first half. A 4th and 1. And let's see if Carlin Garner does the same thing and just heaves it. Sets, short drop, now has to run because of the pressure, and he won't elude it this time as he is sacked back at the 41-yard line. And that, well, we're down to 2 seconds.
Down to 2 seconds with a change of possession right here.
Exactly.
Let's see if Gateway just turns around and heaves one deep on a Hail Mary.
Give it to Horner. Throw it up to the big guy.
Yeah, the sack in there for Gateway. Mike Lafredo, but did you notice who else was in there? Savon Tipton. I mean, he's everywhere.
Yeah, he's a savant. Okay, I mean he's seeing the future. I mean he's seeing things that we aren't right now.
So Gateway will get one last play here, barring a penalty. And we've seen the ability of Royquez McNair. And let's see if he just heaves it downfield as they're late bringing on that right side guard. Or does he just take a knee? And he does, yeah.
We got to argue about that soon, man. Throw the ball.
So we've played one half here at West Mifflin High School, this AAA non-conference showdown as the Gateway Gators come to town. And they score late in that second quarter. An 8-play, 51-yard drive, and it was capped off by Adam White. He has the only touchdown, and then the, well, fancy 2-point conversion as the Gateway Gators lead it by a score of 8-0.
A lot of defense. Not a whole lot of yards. You take a look at it. We're going to be talking about halftime stats here in just a bit, but one that jumps out, 21 plays for Gateway, 22 for West Mifflin, and only 11 yards separate them, 86 and 97.
Well, again, it was an interesting first half from the standpoint of it looked early on like the teams were feeling each other out, but I think more than anything, and Ellis, you hit on this in the pregame, is I think what we saw a lot of is young players on both sides.
Oh, yeah. Charlie,
And I'm talking about specific plays, but also, you saw both coaches have to use their timeouts. Why? Young teams in unique situations or important situations, you can't just take it to them. You have to make sure everybody's on the same page. Let's head down and get for our halftime interview. Let's check in with Sarah Cervetnik. Sarah.
Thanks, guys. Coach, your defense has been stellar this year. Was it nice to get that first offensive touchdown there at the end of the half?
It was. That's our first one this year, so that's nice. And we got the 2-point, so that's a little cushion, but this game's far from over, and we got to continue to play defense like that and try to get another one on.
What was that formation you used? Is that something new you've been working on this week?
No. Where? Down for the 2-point?
Yeah, for the touchdown.
For the touchdown or the 2 points?
For the touchdown. For the 2-point.
Yeah. We do that all the time, so if we ever score, so okay. It's nothing new.
Okay. All right. Good luck, Coach. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Back up to you.
All right, Sarah. Thank you, Tom Nola. I'm sorry, guys. I still can't get used to seeing him in black and gold.
Yeah.
But, again, he's got to be happy. It's only 8-0, but he's got to be happy. Hope you've enjoyed it. Entertaining first half. 8-0 as the Gateway Gators have the lead here at West Mifflin. You're enjoying Xfinity, Comcast Xfinity, high school football game of the week.
Most people think the Y is a gym, but to me, it's so much more. It was where I made my first friends. And I got my first A with help from the after-school enrichment program. They taught me discipline and gave me confidence. And they do the same thing for millions of kids every day. The Y helped me achieve my goals and be so much more. You can help by giving to the Y.
Did you know that children who are deaf can learn to listen and speak?
I can listen and speak because I go to DePaul. I am deaf and I learn to listen.
At DePaul School for Hearing and Speech.
DePaul School for Hearing and Speech in Shadyside is the only school in western Pennsylvania that teaches children who are deaf or hard of hearing to listen and speak without using sign language. DePaul School prepares children from birth to age 14 for success in our hearing and speaking world. For more information, visit speakmiracles.org.
All aboard for a ride into the past at the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum. Ride the rails on a 4-mile scenic tour. Check out the restorations in the car barn. Explore all the interactive exhibits and the museum store. The Trolley Museum is a great destination for your birthday party or play group. The Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in Washington County. Go to patrolley.org or call 724-228-9256. More than a ride, it's an experience.
When Panera began, we decided to get up every day and bake fresh bread from fresh dough. That decision made us wonder, what else could we do the right way? Could we make food that lives up to our bread? And could it be food you can trust with ingredients like antibiotic-free chicken? Could we come together as a community and help feed people in need? We already have. And every morning, we start again. Panera Bread. Live consciously. Eat deliciously.
Most people think the Y is a gym, but to me, it's so much more. It was where I made my first friends. And I got my first A with help from the after-school enrichment program. They taught me discipline and gave me confidence. And they do the same thing for millions of kids every day. The Y helped me achieve my goals and be so much more. You can help by giving to the Y.
High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you in part by today's hits, yesterday's favorites, today's Wish 99.7, with Chris and Chris in the morning and $1,000 Thursdays. Welcome back to the Wish 99.7 halftime show. I'm Sarah Servetnik. Behind me is a Gateway marching band directed by Robert Reed, and tonight's theme for them is Flashback. It's a story about a soldier who is coming back from war. So let's listen in. That's the Gateway Marching Band. When we come back on the Wish 99.7 halftime show, we'll hear from the hometown West Mifflin Band.
The Gateway Band will be hosting a band festival on Saturday, September 13th, and will be hosting the Bands of America.
Most people think the Y is a gym, but to me, it's so much more. It was where I made my first friends. And I got my first A with help from the after-school enrichment program. They taught me discipline and gave me confidence. And they do the same thing for millions of kids every day. The Y helped me achieve my goals and be so much more. You can help by giving to the Y.
At Panera Bread, our new flatbread sandwiches may be flat. The flavors are anything but. So whether it's taste inspired by the freshness of the Mediterranean or the smoky spice of the Southwest, or bold, adventurous Thai flavors, you always get flavor that's anything but flat, and always with chicken raised without antibiotics. New flatbread sandwiches from Panera, each 360 calories or less. Try one today.
Have an extra vehicle that you can't trade in or sell? Donate it to Goodwill. One phone call to Goodwill, and our friendly tow truck drivers come to you. Our drivers make it easy, and the IRS still allows a tax deduction for donated vehicles. Donations support Goodwill's mission of helping people find meaningful employment. Call 888-3040-CAR or visit us at www.goodwillswpa.org. Goodwill, good cause.
Hi, I'm Charlie Batch. Here at the Best of the Batch Foundation, we know the importance of the internet.
I use it to do my homework.
We use the internet for everything.
That's why Comcast offers Internet Essentials. It brings affordable internet into homes that qualify, because your child can really succeed when you have internet in your home. So call 1-855-8-INTERNET or visit internetessentials.com.
All aboard for a ride into the past at the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum. Ride the rails on a 4-mile scenic tour. Check out the restorations in the car barn. Explore all the interactive exhibits and the museum store. The Trolley Museum is a great destination for your birthday party or play group. The Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in Washington County. Go to patrolley.org or call 724-228-9256. More than a ride, it's an experience.
Since 1984, Angels Place has provided free childcare and other supportive services to parents who are low-income students. Our services include early childhood education, parenting classes, career exploration, tutoring, and much more. Our goal is to enable student parents to complete their education, secure lucrative employment, and become independent, successful members of our community. To support Angels Place or for more information, please call 412-321-4447 or visit us online at angelsplacepgh.org.
Welcome back to the Wish 99.7 halftime show. I'm Sarah Savetnik. Before the break, we heard from the Gateway Band. Now behind me, under the direction of Jeff Kesser, is the West Mifflin Band. Their theme tonight will be songwriters and storytellers. Now let's listen in.
small feature of our time, 15 starlets, led by Captain Paige Maurice and co-captain Lauren Anderson, and flag Maurice Soaps with Captain Abby Copa and Courtney Kepper. Reporting that Elton John's Saturday Night Still Alright was playing, and the singer I had the fortune of seeing many, many years ago at the Civic Arena, the King, Elvis. Here, you ain't nothing but a hound dog and wording through a party in the county jail. Jailhouse Rock.
Mifflin Marching Band. We come back after break. We'll have stats and highlights on the Wish 99.7 halftime show.
Most people think the Y is a gym, but to me, it's so much more. It was where I made my first friends. And I got my first A with help from the after school enrichment program. They taught me discipline and gave me confidence. And they do the same thing for millions of kids every day. The Y helped me achieve my goals and be so much more. You can help by giving to the Y.
All aboard for a ride into the past at the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum. Ride the rails on a 4-mile scenic tour. Check out the restorations in the car barn. Explore all the interactive exhibits and the museum store. The Trolley Museum is a great destination for your birthday party or play group. The Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in Washington County. Go to patrolley.org or call 724-228-9256. More than a ride, it's an experience.
At Panera Bread, our new flatbread sandwiches may be flat. The flavors are anything but. So whether it's taste inspired by the freshness of the Mediterranean or the smoky spice of the Southwest, or bold, adventurous Thai flavors, you always get flavor that's anything but flat, and always with chicken raised without antibiotics. New flatbread sandwiches from Panera, each 360 calories or less. Try one today.
Most people think the Y is a gym, but to me, it's so much more. It was where I made my first friends. And I got my first A with help from the after-school enrichment program. They taught me discipline and gave me confidence. And they do the same thing for millions of kids every day. The Y helped me achieve my goals and be so much more. You can help by giving to the Y.
Did you know that children who are deaf can learn to listen and speak?
I can listen and speak because I go to DePaul. I am deaf and I learn to listen.
At DePaul School for Hearing and Speech.
DePaul School for Hearing and Speech in Shadyside is the only school in western Pennsylvania that teaches children who are deaf or hard of hearing to listen and speak without using sign language. DePaul School prepares children from birth to age 14 for success in our hearing and speaking world. For more information, visit speakmiracles.org.
Hi, I'm Charlie Batch. Here at the Best of the Batch Foundation, we know the importance of the internet.
I use it to do my homework.
We use the internet for everything.
That's why Comcast offers Internet Essentials. It brings affordable internet into homes that qualify, because your child can really succeed when you have internet in your home. So call 1-855-8-INTERNET or visit internetessentials.com.
And welcome back to West Mifflin. Bruce Sokolic, Ellis Cannon, and Charlie Batch. 8-0. The Gateway Gators have the lead over West Mifflin. But the story of the first half, guys, I think we all agree. Field position. West Mifflin has really been hurt by where they've had to start in this game.
Yeah, when you consider that West Mifflin has started inside their 20 to 16 to be precise, obviously that's a big thing. And I know that Sarah's got the coach and will probably talk about that.
Let's go down to Sarah Servetnik. Sarah.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach. What adjustments do you need to make for the second half here?
Well, we feel like we missed a lot of blocking assignments. Maybe it's just second game jitters or whatever. I don't know. We got a lot of young kids on the line, so I think if we just get on our blocks and stay with them, we can move the ball a little bit. We got to get a little. We got to get a little balance. We got to get a little running game going so we could throw the ball a little bit.
Hey, how has field position hurt you in the first half?
Pardon me?
How has field position hurt you in the first half?
It hurt us a lot. Whenever you're down on your own end, you got to be a little more cautious. So if we can get some field position, we could probably open up a little bit more. But back again, we just have to block better.
Thank you very much, Coach. Back up to you guys.
All right, Sarah, thank you so much. So as we look to the second half here, Ellis, does West Mifflin have to do anything else different, or they just need to get the ball, as you heard Ray Brazo just say, get better field position?
I'll be honest, I think they need to execute. When he talks about, Charlie, those guys not being able to get the blocks up front, he's talking about not being able to spring his running back. I mean, his running back is
That's exactly what it is. You talked about field position, but one key I look at, third downs. Gateway's 1 for 5, West Mifflin's 2 for 7, and that's where field position is coming to play, because now the punters have to do a lot more throughout the course of this game.
Well, let's get a recap. Let's take a look back at that first half and take a look at our highlights.
Oh, you could see right off the bat that was one nice play, obviously, by the quarterback who did not start the game, as we pointed out, and ultimately the touchdown there right up the middle to Adam White, who had a strong first half. And then, as we talked about, Charlie, the
old swinging gate.
The swinging gate, and it worked very well as a two-point conversion was made, and is described by Coach Knoll at the end of the first half, I guess, a little bit of a cushion. But there are your stats, and you can see the passing yards are about the same, the rushing's about the same, the total's about the same, but penalties certainly aren't about the same. 2 for 10. 10's a lot of penalties, and 2 for 10 yards for both, so it's about the same there. But I do think the field position and third downs, like Charlie pointed out, are big differences so far.
All right, we get set for the second half kickoff here. Again, the West Mifflin Titans and the Gateway Gators. Again, non-conference matchup here for week number 2. Now, don't forget, Gateway deferred. They won the opening toss, but they deferred. So they have elected, obviously, to take the football here to begin this second half. And obviously, they would love nothing more than to put some more points up on the board and build on what is currently an 8-0 lead. We haven't had any turnovers in this game. I mean, again, you just look at how this has played out, and that is both teams have been very even. The stats prove that out. Both teams have moved the ball. We've had a couple of big plays, but the only real big play, if you guys recall, was the pass play from Carlin Gardner to Kevin Garback, 34 yards. That was when they were deep in their own territory, but they've sort of been there all day. But that's the one big play for West Mifflin. They need a big defensive play as they kick it off here in the second half, and it will get behind. Back there with Savon Tipton, and Tipton now will return it across the 10. Stays on his feet. He's got a lane. Keeps his balance across the 35. Here is Tipton. Gets a block. He's to midfield. Tipton going to be horse-collared and brought down at the 30-yard line. Finally down there for West Mifflin to bring him down was Howard Clayton, but a huge return for Gateway. And boy, Tipton's having himself a huge night on all sides of the ball. 66 yards on the return.
The ball's bouncing around. He's just trying to find a lane, get vertical, and he was able to split the defenders, kept his balance, made the punter miss, and here you go down the sideline.
Charlie, I have to say, how many times, whether it's at the high school level or the NFL, you see misplays on special teams and returns turn into plays? I think there are two reasons, but you know better than anybody. One, the player didn't get fancy. He just went straight up, found the lane, and that was it. And sometimes the coverage just gets too deep when they see the ball bounce
Too deep
around.
and too lazy, and that's where they lose their lanes, lose coverage in their lanes.
Here's White, who has the touchdown, the ball carrier, and White fights his way close to the 23. Tackle by West Mifflin's was Corey Zuka, who made the stop. Now it's Lafredo who's in at quarterback. Mike Lafredo is a senior, 6 feet, 175 pounds. We saw mostly Royquez McNair in that first half, but it was Lafredo who started the game. So again, we see Tom Nola using both quarterbacks, but we saw the bulk of McNair. Let's see how long he sticks with Lafredo here. Slot man is Burks to the near side. White dots the I, and they give it to him. White, nice opening as he gets inside the 20, picks up the first down, and he's dropped at the 19.
Big credit up front there, Charlie. You just heard from Bruce. There was a hole there anybody can get through. You love down a distance there at second and short, but look at the hole here right in the middle of the screen. 68 over there. Dominic Cicera, who's all-conference honorable mention on the right side, sealing it off. And Clark and Hampton, those guys doing what they had to do to create that hole.
So they must have listened to you at halftime talking about field position. This is a better way to start the second half.
Yeah.
Now here is McNair in at quarterback now. So they switch things up mid-drive. This is White, and White dances. He's down to the 15 and then gets pushed backwards there.
Again, as we talked about at the beginning of the game, this was really Coach Brazo's big concern coming in. I think he's, I was looking at last year's games, and we had West Mifflin, you and I, Charlie,
right,
in the playoff game. First game we worked together. Felt like the 600th because it was so smooth. But the reality is that it really showed us last year that Coach Brazo was concerned about his defense, even then. They got better through the year. Right now they're still young, and it's early in the season. I don't think they're really where they need or want to be.
Here's the turn and the give. This is Smith, Dylan Smith, who has the 2-point conversion for Gateway. Takes it off the right side. He'll pick up short yardage there and bring up a big third down play here for the Gators as we're early on in this third quarter.
I think right now you're in two-down territory, so I think they're going to play the change because right now they're doing everything right, and West Mifflin just doesn't have an answer for that quick hit and trap right now. So I just really look forward Gateway to play two downs in this situation.
Real nice play there by Jason Clark, pulling out, picking up the defensive lineman and creating the spot just enough for advancing the ball.
McNair turns and gives it to White, and Adam White gets stacked up. Boy, the defense ready for it that time as it went absolutely nowhere. The tackle by West Mifflin's Kashawn Mickle.
Big fan of this guy. Saw him last year. I think he's a real nice athlete, 5'11", 180. Last season he came in, he made some plays, is a returning starter, and you take a look at that line as we talked about, particularly with Fontaine out of the mix, he's got to make plays.
Well, they're going to go for the field goal. Jordan Washington, the sophomore, has come on, and he will attempt the field goal. Looks like the spot will be at the 19, so a 29-yard attempt just inside the left hash, and we get a timeout by Tom Nola. So he'll burn a timeout here, 8:38 to play, third quarter, and the Gateway Gators leading it 8-0. Gateway lost last week. They haven't begun a season 0-2 since 2006, so it's been a while. So obviously something on the line there. Of course, West Mifflin comes in 1-0 They won a wild one against Uniontown last week, so obviously they would love to start 2-0, but they're going to have to come up with some big plays here in the second half.
That was a game they were up by double digits at halftime, and they had 26 points on the board. You'd think that that'd be enough to be able to have Ray run that offense and be able to just methodically go on to a sound win, and they end up holding on, as Bruce points out. But I really think what's interesting, assuming they're going to go for the field goal, which they are right now, and this kicker is honorable mention last year on conference as well, had a great camp. That was a huge stop on third down by the middle of that defensive line.
It really was, and I think that changes the mindset of what Nola wanted to do there, because I thought he was going to go for it, but when you lose yardage on third down, there's not much you can do.
Mike Marshall holds. The kick is up by Washington, and it is good. He drills the 29-yarder, and Gateway puts up 3 more as they make it 11-0.
Yeah, Tom spoke about him. Coach Nola spoke about this kid at during the preseason and said, look, he's having a nice camp kicking the ball. He's going to be kicking it well. Now, it hooked a little bit, but it got through, and that's all that counts. And 11-0, particularly if the field position remains anywhere close to the same, could be a pretty big ditch for a team that is going to rely heavily, obviously, on the run. Charlie, you heard Coach Ray say there during the halftime interview with Sarah, he's looking for some balance. He's going to have to get some balance offensively.
He's going to have to, because right now they're really, heavy run right now. Occasionally they've been able to beat the secondary over the top. So now we're going to see how they line up, if Garner is able to take advantage down the field like he's been able to do a couple times throughout this game. But this is a very critical drive for West Mifflin, because right now it is a 2-possession ball game, and they have to answer that field goal with something.
You've got Reed back there with Mitchell. Mitchell gets the ball here. You have to believe they're going to do a little bit better than the 16-yard line. It's so important. I don't think they're out of their game plan yet. They're 11-0. They got a full half to go. They could still run their game plan, but boy, they could run a heck of a lot more of the book if they're able to start a drive to 30 or 40-yard line.
So Washington, after the field goal, has it teed up and will kick it away. Left-footed kicker. High end-over-end kick. Taken in at the 22-yard line by West Mifflin. Javon Gibson on the return. He goes nowhere. Maybe to the 30, that will be it. And that's where this West Mifflin offense will go to work, trailing 11-0 here in the third quarter.
A very smart play right there by Coach Nola. He was not going to allow Mitchell to change the pace of this game by returning a kickoff. So he pooched it, forced West Mifflin to have to almost fair catch it. So it's just something that right now, a very smart strategic play right there by Gateway.
Great coverage, because Gibson is a threat as well. Last season, a lot of catches, had some touchdowns. I mean, this is a guy that can make plays in their offensive set.
Well, Carlin Gardner under center, and just as the play is snapped, we get a flag, and this one may be against the defense. It is dead ball offside against Gateway, so that will cost the Gators 5 and make it 1st and 5. And right now, West Mifflin will take any yards they can to get away from their own goal line, because again, we've touched on it repeatedly. Field position has really slowed them down. Ray Brazo admits it's limited their offense.
It has, and when you look at this game, there's plenty of half to play here. You have 8:26 on the clock. You don't have to get into panic mode. You can still stay within your offense. They just have to put a drive together.
I think they got to get the quarterback in a position where he can be able to make plays, run, pass, keep teams off, keep the D off balance a little bit, change the pace here a little bit. Really, when you're at the 15, you have nothing but dive plays, and I think they've got to get the quarterback out to make some plays.
Gardner will give it. This is Mitchell up the middle, finds a seam, picks up the first down as he's out to the 43-yard line. Finally wrestled down there for Gateway, coming up to trip him up. Chad Retger.
Big win up front there. Big win. And again, as we talk about all the time, Charlie, if you're going to get a player like that, not get touched till he's 8 or 9 yards in, he's going to win. And they just won, and they're nearing first down, and this is exactly what we were talking about.
You can gain 10 on first down. You don't have to worry about third down.
And then they'll split Kevin Garback wide to that far side. You see him at the top of your screen there. Watch him. He is dangerous. And the give instead, though, is to the fullback, and that's Johnson. And Johnson across midfield takes a hit from Burke, but there's also a penalty flag that came in late behind the play at the 45-yard line. And this one may come back. That's in that area where you see an illegal block or a hold.
They certainly had a lot of space, and it was because of the hold.
Wow, that negates just a nice run that time. Maurice Johnson, the big fullback here. Nice little change-up with that. You got Mitchell, but then you've got the bruising run here, and then the big hit at the finish. But again, This all comes back because of the holding flag at the 45, so this will be marked back to the 35.
Apologies to the Zuka family if I'm wrong, but just on that quick replay, it looked like 53 got his arms around a smaller player there, Charlie, and created a spot. Here's going to see the hold. It looks like, yeah, it's at the point of impact.
And anytime you take him down, the referee is going to call that.
Yeah, particularly if you're, a couple inches taller and 50 pounds heavier.
Yes.
So, wow, what was the football at about the Gateway, 48-yard line, close to a first down. Instead, it is a first and very long back at their own 35. So we'll call it first and 18. Garner on the option will keep it. And Garner slips through. And Garner fights his way out to the 43. And yet another penalty flag comes down. So we'll sort this one out.
Sideline interference?
There's a sideline warning, maybe. So they're going to push everybody back. Again, if you look on those sidelines, you'll see that white line, and they have really enforced that more and more, keeping those players back. And I should clarify, not just players, coaches, staff, everyone. They want that sideline clear.
And that's where the head coach right now is yelling at the get back at. Normally that's the strength coach. You get your guys back. I don't want any more penalties that are going to be called.
So no flag there. That's pretty much just a warning. And here's Mitchell. He breaks through. Oh, just a little stutter step away as he fights his way out to the 48-yard line. Good tackle that time by Isaiah Davis to come up and finish him off before he could make it a really big play. He was close.
He was gone. He's all jet here. I think he's gone, Charlie, if he doesn't get stopped. Super tackle by 6.
He doesn't. You can see the way that Gateway's defense is playing right now. They're not giving up the big play, so they're playing too deep coverage. And guess what? The weakness is running the football, or for your run defense. So that's why you see West Mifflin right now able to pound it and get back into a manageable third down situation.
And that's what they want to do as well. So they've got that manageable down a distance.
Big third down here. This is Mitchell. And he cuts it back as he gets the West Mifflin first down and down to the Gateway 45-yard line. Mitchell trying to get his troops. You see the emotion there as he comes out of the pack.
Charlie, I did not see Mitchell in the first half be indecisive. I did not see him slow to the hole. But what I am seeing in the second half is him being very decisive and very fast to the hole. I don't know whether it's blocks up front or whatever, but he is hitting it fast.
A lot more patient. He's setting up his blocks. He's one step. He's getting downhill, and he's gashing 8-10-yard plays.
And Garback splits wide to the top of the screen. It's Gibson to the bottom, and they give up the middle, and they go to the fullback, and that's Maurice Johnson. And Johnson bowls his way down to the 39-yard line, and all of a sudden, are you guys seeing what I am? It looks like West Mifflin's found a little bit of a rhythm, a little bit of a flow in this offense.
They found a little bit of a rhythm, and that's going back to that two-deep coverage that Gateway is playing. They're not allowing the big play, and they're saying, hey, we'll allow you to have some success on offense, but we'll limit that to 7-8 yards per play as it eats up the clock.
Right now, the sophomore Dylan Boyd is the center. First guy up. He's running to the line. He's eating guys right now.
Garner turns, gives it. Mitchell off that left side, cuts back inside the 35, down to the 30, and he'll be dropped there. And the Titans rack up yet another first down. Nice little drive here. Began at their own 30, so they're slowly marching it down the field.
And Charlie, they're doing it in chunks. So when you mention the two deep, I mean, at what point, or is there a point where you say, okay, I got to bring a guy back into the box here?
You have to, and I think that's why they're going to be content doing it this way. But it'd be interesting to see. We need to replace and get an extra run defender in there to at least secure up that run defense. Because if not, West Mifflin's going to continue to do that methodically down the field like they're doing.
Watching Garback down here, he's in single again, and man, sooner or later, that's danger.
First and 10. And they give Mitchell, he's got an opening. Inside the 20, D'Angelo Mitchell down to the 16-yard line. Another West Mifflin first down.
You know, we hear a lot about his shiftiness and his moves, but what I'm seeing right now, Charlie, is a guy who's just getting to the hole fast and a little bit of a move, but nothing fancy, and didn't fake out the defender, but he ran hard.
He ran hard right at the safety. He's letting you know he put his head down. I'm gonna run through you. So he's looking over to the sideline. He's saying feeding me. I want the football.
Yeah, there's rhythm right there. He's defining it.
Carlin Gardner turns the toss off the left side. Mitchell trying to get to the edge, does. Turns it. He's down close to the 5-yard line. May have stepped out just shy. But the Titans are staring at a 1st and goal here, I believe. Did he get the first down? It's very close. I didn't see exactly where he went out. This may be just shy.
You know, one of the things we want to point out is that this is a team that's not used to having a goose egg up with about 2 minutes to go in the half. I don't have the clock directly in front of me, but it's certainly at about 3. There's a team last year that, you know, was doing 400+ a game. Now, that's with Wheeler, but they had 38 last week. So, I mean, points. This is unusual territory. Clearly the best drive all night for West Mifflin.
2nd and short. Gardner gives it. This is Mitchell. Touchdown. West Mifflin almost untouched as he went right up the middle.
Backside block there by the tight end, Kayshawn McKell, and it helps out a great deal with the push that comes up front. You have the two together and you got a huge hole. Boom. Right there, that backside block was nice. Coming from your left side, and it was already opened up sweet by the guys up front.
And you see the swinging gate play for Gateway worked. Now it forces West Mifflin here to go for 2.
Well, now we got ball, fellas.
Well, interesting second half here, guys. You know, that nice kickoff return by Tipson to start it for Gateway. They take it down and get the field goal. I think we were a little bit surprised they kicked the field goal, but they did. But now, boy, a great response, too. You know, West Mifflin could have really been down on themselves, but they came out and really put it together offensively on this drive, and they will line it up for 2 just like they do any other down. But they want to throw. Gardner now tucks it, and he's going to run for the 2-point conversion. Carwin Gardner takes it in. The junior puts up 2.
A little bit more active. In that drive. I liked it a lot.
Well, we've got a good one here. Let's find out about our fan of the game. Let's check back to the sidelines as we go to Sarah Severtnik. Sarah.
Thank you, guys. I'm here with Karen Fulmer Johnson, and she is a huge, huge West Mifflin fan, and she's been coming to games for how long now?
Since I was 14 years old.
14, and you guys, she has been cheering loudly. You can hear her from up there, and for that, she's going to be our Panera fan of the game. Here you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's go, Zion!
Back up to you guys.
Yeah, we see why she was the fan of the game. Thank you, Sarah, for that.
Tell you what she's a fan of. I'm sorry, Bruce.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you what she's a fan of is what Ken Baker just handed to me, and that is West Mifflin being able to run the ball. Check this out, everybody. First half, 35 yards rushing, doubled at 70 in that drive right there. So exactly what they needed in response to that half opening field goal by Gateway.
And you can see the fan of the game. You see it happy about that coupon. I'm looking at it like, man, Panera Bread, unbelievable. Those sandwiches at halftime?
Oh, yeah.
They're
very good.
It's like filet mignon. But that being said, if I had a drink, if I had one thing I could get there to drink Charlie Batch at Panera, what would it be?
For me, I like the black cherry smoothies, but I think they got rid of it. But now I have to use a smoothie. I have to go that route.
Wait a minute. Last week I thought I set you up with a fastball down the middle. Last week you said it was orange juice. Come on.
It's a hot day right now.
Oh, okay.
I have to switch it up.
Here's Tipton on the kickoff return. We saw what he did the last time. This time West Mifflin will wrap him up at the 30, but all of a sudden the emotion here has amped up a little bit. You know the other thing I noticed, guys, I just thought of? Do you remember the halftime interview that Sarah did with Ray Brazo? Mm-hmm. He kind of lost his voice. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Like maybe he had something to say
maybe he had something to say at halftime?
He did. The way these teams came out here, I mean, right now it's a totally different sideline for West Mifflin after that scoring drive, and that's exactly what you want to see. You answer a field goal drive with the drive of your own, and you're able to put 7 points on the board. Now momentum swings back to your side.
And they just got in their comfort zone. They got in their comfort zone because you point out the defense lent itself to that, the field position lent itself to that, the execution was better, and you're absolutely right, C. Batch. I saw the same thing. The blue and yellow right now, they're up and down the sidelines. They're totally into the game.
Motion man to the far side. That is Burke. Throwing, though, is McNair, and it was in and through the hands that time. Maurice Johnson went up. I don't know if he got a hand on it, but it was close to coming down. And we got a shaken up play in here down for West Mifflin. I believe that's Howard Clayton, who is down right now for the Titans back at the 48-yard line.
Well, if he was looking for 9, who was off to the right in the flank there, he missed him. And if he was looking for the player behind the defenders, he's lucky he didn't get a picked.
He was, and it looked like the receiver stopped running on that route. McNair did a nice job of getting the ball over the linebacker, but the receiver didn't trust that the ball was going to be thrown over top of him, and he stopped on his route.
Well, you never had a conversation with Bill Cowher about the passing game without him using that word trust, man. He talked about it all the time. Good, Bruce.
Hey, catering for tonight's telecast provided by Italian Village Pizza, located at 5235 Clareton Boulevard in West Mifflin. Call in your order for terrific pizza and Italian specialties right now. Call 412-882-9155. So again, Clayton down. You see him sitting up, well, kind of leaning up, if you will. Helmet off at the 48-yard line.
I wonder if it looks like a cramp from up here.
You know, I was wondering that, Charlie, as we touched on in the pregame, just how warm it was down on the field. And you have to believe that, quite honestly, we've hit that point of the game where that probably will start to flare itself up on both sides here.
And two things. One, I'm surprised it's actually not flared up already because it was really, really hot and humid to start this game. And second of all, Charlie Batch, you know it's all about third person. Ellis Cannon doesn't eat pizza, but I had about 5 of those pizzas that were just talked about. 5? 7? They were great, man.
They had some really good pizza.
So after the injury timeout, Gateway goes back to work as McNair settles under center. Only a sophomore, 6'6", 200 pounds. From the eye, they give it to the fullback, and not much there. Dylan Smith. And Smith stacked up. And boy, funny what offense can do for your defense.
It can, and right now they had success with that quick hit and trap. West Mifflin's, they're ready for it. They're going to force Gateway to throw the ball down the field. And right now, looking at this 3rd and 10, you're playing right into West Mifflin's hands.
And with Robert Fontaine out for the season, that means Eric Nesby's got to step up, 6'4", 225, the senior, 58. He was right at the point of attack, and guess what? No one got by him. He set it up a real nice 3rd and long.
On 3rd and 10, trips right. Sidecar right. McNair has time, rolls, sets, going to just chuck it deep down the field. Coming back on it, Burke, but that pass pretty much out of bounds. No chance for him to make the reception there, and it will be 4th and long, and the punt team will come on for the Gators.
And that's something you can't happen offensively. When you throw a deep pass, you have to give your receiver a chance to catch the football, because if you don't, it just turns into a long incompletion, and defensively they love that. So he just has to do a better job of keeping that ball inbound so his receiver can make a play.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the receiver did a nice job of breaking it off and coming back. Unfortunately, it was 3 yards out of bounds.
Right,
so.
and you can see McNair mad at himself. You see him shaking his head. He know he should have kept that ball in bounds.
Right, he missed.
Mitchell back deep for West Mifflin.
Oh, boy.
He's going to let it bounce, and now he'll scoop it up. This is Mitchell coming near sideline. Looking for a block, cuts back nicely, does it again, stays on his feet, gets out to the 39-yard line, and that's where the West Mifflin offense will go back to work. Down by just 3.
So they started basically at the 30-yard line last time or so. Now they're starting at the 40. They're feeling the momentum. You take a look at what this kid did last week. I mentioned, fellas, that he had 4 touchdowns 3 different ways. He had 2 running, 2 and 5 yards. He had a 30-yard pass. We know he could catch the ball out of the backfield for a touchdown. He had a 75-yard punt return. And you can probably hear me murmuring as Bruce made that call, like, you don't want this.
Yeah, right. And you don't. And I think on this drive here, it would be interesting to see if they bring that run defender into the box.
Let's check it out.
1st and 10. Carlin Gardner under center. Mitchell the deep back in the eye, and here he is with the football. Off that left side, he cuts back, and he's out to midfield, and he picks up 11 and a 1st down for the Titans.
But Charlie, that was a nice cut.
That was. They tried to bring the run defender, the safety, down into the box, and you can see Mitchell, he sets it up beautifully. Safety runs out, he cuts inside.
Real nice there. No question about it. Give 51 the Akai Reed at guard for making that play, creating that seal, and ultimately the seam for the running back who caught it just up perfectly.
And with that, Clayton and Belante check in. Well, they rotate the plays with their receivers, so they come in on 1st down. And they give it to the fullback, Johnson. And Johnson gets greeted at the line of scrimmage, but able to kind of spin his way, picks up a couple down to the Gateway 47.5-yard line.
Well, you mentioned Tipton a lot early on in the game, and deservedly so at defensive end. But as we talked about before, there's a lot of inexperience on that Gateway side, and it'll be interesting to see how they respond here, Charlie, because when you replace entire units like linebackers and secondaries, and you're able to win up front, which is what West Mifflin's been able to do this half, all of a sudden those guys are now front and center. They're on the spotlight.
2nd down and 8. The turn and the give to Mitchell, and Mitchell, he slips through. What a move. Mitchell to the 20. Are they going to catch him? No way. He's gone. Touchdown. This one will cover 48 yards. Okay, 47 yards.
Yeah, I think he's found his rhythm, guys.
Watch this right there. There's the touchdown right there.
I saw the quote from Garback earlier who said the kid's got unbelievable moves. Well, guess what? He was pedestrian in the first half. He's anything but in the second. He now has 16 carries, 134 yards, that the log at 47. And so they put it all together, and this kid and this unit and this team is playing like they expected to.
Kyle Griffin on for the extra point. The hold by Garbaugh. Good snap. Hold is down, and he will kick it through. And just like that, 2 possessions in this second half, both end with touchdowns, and West Mifflin now has their first lead at 15-11.
And I don't know where this is going. It's an odd score, 15-11. If you got 5 and 11 on the boxes, it's a weird number. You never expect to win. But I know that this is an interesting story. That extra point by Kyle Griffin. This kid's 5'6", he's a senior. But the thing that's interesting is that Paul Eagle, who was 38 out of 49 last year in point afters, and he had a field goal of 35, didn't come out. He just didn't come out. And I talked to Ray earlier, he didn't come out. So, when you put it in the hands of a kid who's really had no experience, again, I don't know where 15-11 is ever going to end up, but at some point, you got to keep an eye on that. I really think that when you take a look at what Ray says about this kid, I would just run right through him. More moves than any running back you ever see. I think we got a good player, shifty, so many moves, really elusive, lots of talent, this is the player I was reading about.
And anytime you get him in the open field like that, he's going to make the majority of the safeties miss. And you can see Dominique Foles tried to come up, and he was able to put a move on him. He took a bad angle, and Mitchell made him pay for it.
Boy, that's so critical, isn't it, Charlie, when the guy makes that first read wrong. And he's the safety, and he's literally the safety net.
That's it. You're a safety. You have to make that play.
Yeah, and if you read it wrong, 1 or 2 steps, it just angles are so important.
And it's tough, and people don't understand what your job description is. And when you're the last line of defense, this is what sometimes you see those things happen.
Tipton back to his 6 on the return. He gets to the middle, and Tipton with a nice return as he gets it out to the 30-yard line. Gateway needs an answer, though. Remember, 8-0 at the half. Nice kickoff return to begin the second half. Gateway ends up booting a 29-yard field goal to take an 11-0 lead. But right now, for Tom Nola, that seems like a long time ago.
It does. And when you look right now, you see this third quarter has been dominated by West Mifflin. With take away from the kickoff return and Gateway not scoring that field goal, this has been a complete domination of West Mifflin in this quarter.
Now we have a player. Again, we can speculate cramps here. We'll have to see. But the training staff has come on here on that return, and it looks to be for West Mifflin. And I believe that's Johnson.
Boy,
I'm sorry, that's not. That's 8. That's Javon Gibson.
Yeah, right. And he's one of their offensive players, return guy as well. Kenny Baker showing me these stats. Rush yards for Gateway in this quarter, Charlie, your point about domination. Gateway 6 for 18 yards. West Mifflin 13-136. I think that speaks to what you're talking about.
Exactly. It speaks exactly what I'm talking about. It seems like they've had the ball the entire third quarter. But right now, Gateway has to respond with this drive.
And the guys up front have to respond. That's where their most experience is.
Johns in motion to the far side. McNair, the deep handoff to White, eludes one tackler, but fights his way for a couple as he gets out near the 32, maybe to the 33-yard line.
I remember last year Ray telling me, Coach Ray Brazo, that listen, the scheme is set up for the middle backers, and Corey Zuka is a player who just made a play right there. Wasn't much, They got penetration, just enough to grab the jersey, make the guy change direction. And right now, it sets up a 2nd and long. This offensive line has to start pushing people around for this team to answer, in my mind.
McNair from the shotgun, and a timeout, though, taken by Gateway. So Tom Nola will use the timeout here. I believe that's his 2nd. And I want to remind you, the high school sports fans, obviously, Xfinity TV sports telecasts are now available for purchase on DVD at pghdvd.com. You can order a copy of tonight's game right now. Go to pghdvd.com, select the game you want. It's as easy as that. Xfinity TV on demand, your home for high school sports.
Charlie, let's talk body language. So I get a timeout from the far sideline, and the first thing I see is the game plan in the air and then on the floor from Tom Nola, who makes his way out and halfway to his huddle has his arms up in the air, puts his nose in for 10 very loud seconds, and turns around and walk away. Should I assume by his body language he wasn't happy?
He definitely wasn't happy.
McNair fires at Johns. That's Arrington Johns who made the catch. He's going to get 2 to the 35, but that's about it. And that may just be the final play of this 3rd quarter, which West Mifflin has dominated.
Another receiver with size. It'd be nice for Gateway to see that they can get the ball to them. He and Hooper and the other guys.
When you run a receiver screen, the receiver has to block his man. If you don't block the extra defender out there, guess what? You're going to have managed plays like that.
That will do it, though. The 3rd quarter comes to an end. It is now the West Mifflin Titans 15. The Gateway Gators 11 here in week 2 in this AAA matchup, a non-conference showdown. Titans Stadium here in West Mifflin. We'll be back with more action here on the Comcast Xfinity High School Game of the Week.
For a ride into the past at the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum. Ride the rails on a 4-mile scenic tour. Check out the restorations in the car barn. Explore all the interactive exhibits and the museum store. The Trolley Museum is a great destination for your birthday party or play group. The Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in Washington County. Go to patrolley.org or call 724-228-9256. More than a ride, it's an experience.
At Panera Bread, our new flatbread sandwiches may be flat. The flavors are anything but. So whether it's taste inspired by the freshness of the Mediterranean or the smoky spice of the Southwest, or bold, adventurous Thai flavors, you always get flavor that's anything but flat, and always with chicken raised without antibiotics. New flatbread sandwiches from Panera, each 360 calories or less. Try one today.
Have an extra vehicle that you can't trade in or sell? Donate it to Goodwill. One phone call to Goodwill, and our friendly tow truck drivers come to you. Our drivers make it easy, and the IRS still allows a tax deduction for donated vehicles. Donations support Goodwill's mission of helping people find meaningful employment. Call 888-3040-CAR or visit us at www.goodwillswpa.org. Goodwill, good cause.
The Xfinity High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by the MSA Sports Network. Friday nights belong to high school football and MSA Sports. Visit msasports.net via your web-enabled device and catch all the WPIAL action. And it's brought to you in part as well by the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum. Join us weekends in October, Pumpkin Patch Trolley Rides. Ride to the Pumpkin Patch for fall fun. If you'd like information, visit them on the web at pa-trolley.org. 4th quarter begins. A 3rd down here for Gateway. McNair fires near side. Has a man. Johns makes the catch. 1st down and more as he's out to midfield and into West Mifflin real estate. Wrestled down there. West Mifflin's Gary Galeas came up to make the stop.
He did indeed, and again, we're talking about Arrington Johns at 6'2", 170. Had a play at the end of the quarter. That was that flanker screen. This time they got him out in space, and Charlie, he put it right there. Nice tight spiral, gets the ball up near midfield.
And it started with protection. You can see the offensive line, they firmed up the protection, allowed McNair to set his feet, deliver the football to the outside for an easy first down.
We mentioned midfield, of course, as you real estate magnates know, it's all about location, location, location. Ken Baker points out that unlike the 16-yard average that was the first half starting spot for West Mifflin, they started at the 34 in the third quarter.
Well, they go 3 wide here. Burks goes in motion, but instead they give it. And I believe that was Tipton who came up. And he's inside the 45, down to the 40. West Mifflin says the football came loose and they have it, but I believe they whistled the play dead. But again, we see Tipton carry the ball, and he comes up limping a bit.
Hard tackle there by Howard Clayton, the senior, 5'8", only 150, but he played a lot bigger right there. He stopped the kid in his tracks right there.
Ooh, now football looked like it came out.
West Mifflin was pleading their case, but no one was listening, or at least anyone that matters in a striped jersey. So he's 2nd down and 4 for Gateway. Gators now trailing by 4. Again, they'll stay with the 3 wide. That's Howard. Split to the top. McNair rolling, the righty rolling left. And the pass incomplete down at the 30-yard line. Charlie, I'll ask you from experience, how tough is that throw?
That's a tough throw, rolling to the left, especially when you're not able to secure the edge. And it kept him on a run, and you just run out of field position or run out of real estate, because now you're running into the sidelines, and it's hard to make an accurate throw that way.
And I was literally about to ask the same question. And Charlie, yet, if he's a sophomore and he's able to get out like that, I don't know if he's a gazelle or not, but he certainly takes big steps. And, I'd love to be able to see the kid's game develop so that he can make, if not that play, he gets the seal so that he's able to option it, whether to run it or to throw it.
Right, and he'll learn. Once you get that edge, now you just read the linebacker, that flat defender. If he starts dropping, just continue to tuck it, because it's going to be an easy 6-yard gain.
They go shotgun here with McNair on 3rd down. Looking left. Fires that way. Has a man. Nope. It went off his fingertips and incomplete. Now coming up to finish off the play was Kevin Garback. But wow, that's a tough drop here, because that's a 1st down for Gateway.
Yeah, we said we wanted to hear John Hooper's name, Charlie, but I'm not sure I wanted to hear it that way. He definitely felt Garback coming up.
He did, and he started drifting away from the football. He should have came back down, especially when you feel the corner closing the gap. The receiver has to attack the football. He got lackadaisical at the top of the catch, and you can see incomplete pass.
So now it's Garback going back deep with Mitchell to return the punt. And it's Dylan Smith who will boot it away. Late in getting a player on.
Now don't get stuck on the 10-yard line. On the 10.
And Smith will get it away, aiming for the near side right to Mitchell, but he lets it go over his head and into the end zone. So West Mifflin takes over. Let's head back down to the sideline, see what's happening down there as we check in with our own Sarah Servetnik. Sarah.
Thanks, guys. We have the Spirit Award tonight, and it goes to the hometown girls. They had a great Comcast cheer, and they've also helped cheer their team on this great second half comeback. Ladies, let's hear it one more time. Thanks. Back up to you guys.
All right. Thank you, ladies. And, of course, they've certainly enjoyed the second half. All 15 points for the Titans in that 3rd quarter, and they go back to work. They haven't been stopped in this second half. And the turn and the give. And speaking of not being stopped, here's the guy that's done the damage, Mitchell. And D'Angelo Mitchell fights for 4 out near the 24.
They're winning up front now. They're winning up front, and honestly, it doesn't take a whole lot for this kid to get it going. So if in fact he's sitting on the ground right now, as we look at Mitchell 7, and we'll figure out what that's all about. He's got a stance of almost somebody who's feeling a little dehydration, but the reality is that he's getting the openings much quicker, and I think it's spread obviously to the guys up front.
It's tough, and we talked about pregame weather being a factor, and now here you are in the 4th quarter. You're starting to see that come into play. So now the training staff is going to make sure to continue to pump those fluids, because they don't want anybody else to have to leave this game with cramps.
Well, make sure you get social with the Xfinity High School Football Game of the Week. You can find us on Facebook at HS Football Game of the Week. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter as well. Just go to @HSFootballPGH. And look for behind-the-scenes photos on Instagram at HSFootballPGH. Xfinity TV On Demand, your home for high school sports.
Hey, Charlie, I'd like to ask you a question. We've worked together a lot of times. I mean, a lot. But you really intrigued me by how you broke down that drop there by Hooper. You'd made the point that basically the top of the route, he's got to come back a lot harder, doesn't he? He's got to dig deeper, come back harder, have the hands out in order to not just beat the quarterback, but to give his quarterback the best chance to get the completion.
You have to. I mean, that route there, you're expecting it to be outside. The ball wasn't led outside. It was more on his body. So as a receiver, you have to be able to judge that football. And if you see it, slow your route down, use your body so now the corner can't run through you, make the catch, and then it's an easy first down. But once you start drifting away, that little bump by the corner, now there's no way that you can continue to control that football and try to make that first down catch.
So the drift combined with not allowing the ball get into your body is between the two basically. That's not a good combination.
Yeah, it's not a good combination. You want to use your hands, extend out, because now if you're able to extend out, you're able to control the ball more. The very good receivers don't allow the ball to get into their chest. They've used always hand-eye coordination with the ball in their hands, and anytime you can do that, receiver's going to catch the ball 90% of the time, hopefully close to 100% of the time. But anytime you're a body catcher, it just makes it hard for you to control that ball.
That was a good throw. It's unfortunate for Gateway it was not completed.
Hey, of course, make sure you're with us for next week's Xfinity High School Football Game of the Week. But Beaver Falls, they take on Beaver. Another good matchup here as we go into week 3. Maybe it won't be 90-some degrees.
It is. It's supposed to be in the upper 60s next week.
Oh, great. Here's Carlin Gardner for West Mifflin on a second down carry after D'Angelo Mitchell had to leave the game with cramps. So Garner does it himself as he picks up another West Mifflin first down. I can't get over this transformation in this West Mifflin offense. They got down 11-0. They flicked a switch, and here they are. They've really dominated here, especially at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they have. I mean, that's really what it's been. And again, who's ever running the ball, whether the quarterback, the fullback, or certainly the running back Mitchell, they've made the most out of it. Once again, a Kai Reed, real nice pull there, Charlie, creating that hole.
On 1st and 10. Carlin Gardner turns and gives, and a short gain out near the 35-yard line. And brought down there. Again, Mitchell is still out of the lineup, and you see coming out of the pile there is Howard Reed.
If I'm Gateway right now, there's no way that I'm going to turn around and continue to let West Mifflin run the football. I'll take my chances, put the extra defender in the box. I'm going to give you an 8-man box, and now let's play one-on-one on the outside and force West Mifflin to beat us over the top.
And by the way, speaking over the top and outside, John Horner's the guy we've been talking about, and I called him Hooper, forgive me. We're working in the dark. I don't know why we have our lights on up here, but I couldn't read my own writing.
There's some movement on that right side, and this will be a procedure penalty on
Offsides
West Mifflin. It will turn what was
5
a
yards.
2nd and 9
Repeat second down.
into, well, tack on 5 more. Yeah, we are in the dark, but
yeah, I can't.
Maybe we were trying to cool it down a little bit on
yeah,
this
well,
side.
I knew if I said, can we put it on, someone was going to hit me. I knew it. So I just said, okay, I'll call a kid by the wrong name on the last quarter.
Well, I'm looking at the bright side.
I'm a team player.
Hey, I'm looking at the bright side, guys. I ate a ton of Panera food at halftime, but I still feel like I'm going to leave here like I lost 10 pounds.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
2nd and 14. Mitchell back in, as we mentioned, after the leg cramps. Lone setback here, a little different look here now. And this is Garback on the carry, and Garback turns the corner down that far sideline, and he's out of bounds with another West Mifflin first down. All of a sudden, again, we're seeing different wrinkles now in the Titan offense.
Able to set the edge. You can see receivers did a nice job from the right-hand side here. You won't see it, but you see a late block coming in. He takes out 2. and allow Garbach to get around the edge.
Well, he comes back as their #1 receiver, but as I mentioned earlier, a real track and field guy. Got slowed up a little bit in the spring with the hamstrings, but then he went on to do very well. Like I said, the MVP up at Butler at the Invitational. He's a track and field guy more than football at the next level. He'll say that himself. But you give him the ball and ask him to go to 200 meters, he'd love that.
Back to their conventional tight eye set, and to Mitchell off the left side, picks up a yard. That will be it in that Gateway defense, snuffing out that play. We'll point it out again. Gateway trailing by 4 here as we near 8 minutes to play in regulation. Gators have not started 0-2 in a season since 2006, and they're staring that in the face right now.
And this team is young. You don't want them looking at the scoreboard right now saying, oh, time is running out. Somebody has to step up and make a play. I don't know who the captain is of this football team, but he needs to gather his team together and challenge his players and force somebody to step up.
Garback splits as an end to the near side. Brody Belonte, the sophomore, up to the top of your screen, but keeping it on the option near side is Garner, and Carlin Garner will just fight his way out of bounds. Looks to be at the Gateway 48-yard line, so he picks up a few, bring up a big third down play.
See, Charlie, I like that. I mean, to change the game, no. I mean, to get over the 50, yeah, but it was a 3 or 4 yard play. But see, I want to make the defense see that. You know, I mean, I want them to know that. I mean, I'm sure they've prepared, and we're in the fourth quarter now. They've seen everything. But I still like to be able to be offensively in a position where when he comes out on the edge, I'm thinking for an extra second, because that extra second sometimes leads to big plays.
And it forces those defensive ends to not be able to collapse right away. They have to play their gaps on the outside and respect the bootleg.
Yeah, Gateway needs a big play defensively here, and oh, they almost had it there. Garner escapes, still rolling, and now just throws it away. Incomplete. Boy, that close to coming up with a huge defensive play. They get the incompletion. Penalty flag down here as well.
Boy, look at the pursuit there. It's unbelievable that Lafredo missed on this. I mean, he had him dead to right, but give the quarterback credit for getting out. He looked, he wanted to make a play, did the right thing. I thought getting the ball out of his hands.
He got the ball out. The referee called intentional grounding because he didn't get the ball to the first down marker. But in fairness to Garner, the problem was the head coach is standing right in the way, and he stops the ball.
5 yards, loss of down.
So they get the penalty yardage marked off, the loss of down. It brings up 4th down, and Gateway will come out of this with the football. Still plenty of time on the clock.
So watch it on the replay. Here he's going to attempt to throw the football away, but watch Coach Nola bats the ball down. And the ball comes back, so the referee's looking to see where the ball lands and not necessarily where it would have landed if it didn't hit the head coach. Trust me. And he sold it. And he said that's a flag on the play. The referee threw the flag and it pushed West Mifflin back.
West Mifflin needs a player.
So Tom Nola just pulled a Mike Tomlin. He basically stepped out on the. He played defense. He was the 12th guy.
He played defense. He was standing right there. He batted the ball down and started to look at the referee saying, throw the flag. But if the ball did not hit Coach Nola right there, the ball would have went at least to the first down mark or the first down marker.
Then it's cool.
Then it's cool. Or the down marker, not the first. But the down marker, then Garner would have been fine. There would have been no intentional grounding, but unfortunately the referee saw the last part of the play with the ball rolling back towards him.
So West Mifflin, with only 10 players on the field, calls the timeout here. 7:12 left in regulation. Titans are going to punt the football away, so they'll need their defense to come up big here.
So that'll be a good one. I don't know if we can go back to the wide angle of that instant replay there, but you'll see Coach Nola bat the ball down.
Charlie. You're saying he went Woody Hayes. You're saying Coach T went Woody Hayes.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know. I mean, he played defensive back.
So here is West Mifflin to punt the football away. Corey Zuka standing at his own 25. A low spiral. Good chance at a return here from their own 30. And this is Burks. And Burks up that left sideline gets pushed and shoved out of bounds. But that's where Gateway will go to work. Still 7 minutes on the clock here. West Mifflin leading it 15-11. They were down 11-0.
They were down, and West Mifflin right now, they have to realize they give up a touchdown and they will be losing this ball game. So they have to continue with that same intensity that they had to start in this second half.
Charlie, how difficult is it to have 3 coaches in 3 years, 3 different messages, 3 different messengers, 3 different systems? I mean, isn't it a little too much to expect only 5 kids coming back to be able to take what Tom Nola brings, even offensively, and make a turn on immediately?
It is, and I'll answer the question after this play here.
Yeah, they go motion man to the near side. That is Johns. McNair sets and just floats one out. Little screen set up over there. Wrapped up immediately is White. White has the only Gateway touchdown of the season in this game. That was back in the first half. And, well, he gets wrestled down. This will go for, it looks like a loss.
And that was a huge play by Bakewell there,
Right.
because if he didn't make that play would have been for a huge gain.
Great read and great tackle. What were you going to say, Charlie?
Absolutely, but when you look back, you talk about 3 coaches in 3 years, there's only 5 players who really have to go through that transition. Everyone else is new. So it's something that where you can still build your program, the messaging that you want to relay to your players, the rest of the team can now buy into that. You just hope the 5 players that are coming back are not going to fall into that mindset of saying, oh, here we go again, another coach. Hopefully they buy into the system, and I think everything will work itself out.
Howard and Burks are split to the top of your screen. Johns to the near side. McNair pumps, now looks deep, but now has pressure, has to elude that, does nicely. Now fires down the middle, has a man, makes the catch despite the big hit from behind, and it's Malik Burks, the junior, who hauls it in for a Gateway first down, and it was coming up to make the play. D'Angelo Mitchell as a safety, covers 19 yards.
Remember we talked about West Mifflin when Garner was rolling out, the receiver wasn't working with his quarterback. Here you go right here, McNair running, buying time, his receiver breaks off the route, comes back, finds the hole in the defense, and able to complete the pass.
He had that second to set, and then he dropped it in. Dropped it in very nice. They didn't have a lot of offense last week, but they're getting more of it this week.
Yeah, here's the sophomore McNair, settles in again, wants to throw. Fires it right over the middle, overthrown, intercepted by West Mifflin. And it's Garback with the football on the return, down the near sideline. Garback, he's down to the 40, and he'll be shoved out there. First turnover of the game, and it could not come at a better time if you're wearing the West Mifflin Titan uniform.
And I was looking for Aiden Howard, another tall receiver, 6'5", 187. The junior had a couple of catches last week, and all the time in the world, great position, overthrow. He overthrew a 6'5" guy. And Garback gets the ball in his hands. He's gonna run.
You can see the form coming in. He is fast.
41 yards on the return here. Boy, he's had a really strong game. Kevin Garback, 5'11" senior. Big defensive play there. So now West Mifflin with the lead and the football, and in Gateway real estate at the 45. Harlan Garner is on. He gives it D'Angelo's Mitchell, and Mitchell takes it for a 5-yard gain down to the 40.
Charlie saw that replay. I'm doubting myself. Overthrow or miscatch?
It was a combination of both. He did lead it a little high, but he got away with it early in the ball game because the receiver bailed him out. In that particular moment, he just, that's something you don't want to happen, but you have to credit West Mifflin's defense because linebackers got enough depth to force him to have to drop that ball over top of the linebacker in between the safety, and he wasn't able to do that.
All right, let's do our best of the batch play of the game. Had a couple of significant plays here, but, well, look at this move. I think that clinches it right there. The touchdown run by D'Angelo Mitchell, 47 yards.
You can see he wasn't able to get things going early in the first half. Came back out in the second half. He was patient. Ellis, you talked about that. He put that foot in the ground and got downhill as a result into a 47-yard touchdown, which is our Xfinity play of the game.
I just think their whole offensive execution got better. I think that their offensive line just played better in the second half. And again, the field position, you hate to go back to a similar thing, but there's simply no way around it. I mean, you start inside the 20 on average in the first half, you're very limited for what you could do. And they had better field position. They did more things. And they came out better.
We get a officials timeout here. And we came out of the timeout there. I don't know if there might be an issue with the clock that they want to settle up on. They have 5:11 on the clock, but sometimes they may want that reset. So not sure exactly what this conference is about. But can see him motioning his arm as if he was saying, you know, wind the clock. So apparently they want the clock to roll here. So once we're set, the clock will roll, and it does now. So 2nd and 5 for West Mifflin. Garner under center, turns and gives it to Johnson as fullback, and he breaks through. He'll get the first down and more as he's near the 30-yard line. Martin yard line by Maurice Johnson, the big sophomore fullback.
I'll tell you, one of the unsung heroes in this game, and I'm going to go with the unit, has been the lineman, because there's so many guys that play both ways under these conditions, and they've gotten stronger as the game's gone on.
They gotten stronger, and it didn't look like they were affected by this weather, by cramping. It's your skilled guys who were the ones that were affected.
So another first down at the Gateway 31-yard line. Belanti back in. He'll split wide to the top of your screen. It's Gar back to the near side. And they run the option. They just keep it with the quarterback, Harlan Garner. And Garner, only a junior, he'll fight his way close to the 20. Yeah, they're going to move it back closer to the 29. So between the 28 and 29.
Boy, this plays the West Mifflin strength right here. They're going to take their time. Don't expect too much fancy stuff. Of course, the moment you say that, you get trickeration. But right now, it'd be crazy to just not let it wind.
Hey, last time they ran the little receiver sweep and were able to get the edge, and that converted into a big gain. Let's see if they go back to something like that.
2nd and 8. Mitchell again dots the I. And they will give it to him. And he goes right up the middle. And Mitchell is inside the 25, down to the 24. Still about 2 or 3 yards shy of the first down.
And they can afford to keep it on the ground, keep the clock moving, because 2 early timeouts in this half. They only have one, and they have to try to keep this, because you never know what's going to happen, and they may need it in an impossible 2-minute drill later in the game.
One of those timeouts I think I gave a play-by-play of. That would be Tom Nola. First I see the game plan in the air, then on the floor, then I see him throw his hands in the air, and then I see him scream for 10 seconds and turn around. That was the body language part of tonight's broadcast.
Again, it's Johnson and Mitchell in the I. Gardner turns, gives it. Mitchell again up the middle, again has a hole, and again he's inside the 10, down to the 8. It will be 1st and goal, West Mifflin.
What I'm impressed with is, as we see a 15-yard gain there by Mitchell, is the Gators are young. One of the things I had as secondary keys was not to give the Gators any hope. And Bruce, really, as we've watched this game unfold, that's, you know, it actually was working for Gateway. They have 11-0 lead. They had hope. We talked about the importance of scoring a touchdown and so forth, but instead, West Mifflin, even when that occurred, led by this guy's 164 yards, they came back. That's impressive.
Garner on the toss to Mitchell, and Mitchell cuts it back at the 5, and he'll be brought down there. On top of that pile, you know, several players were in there, but finishing him off for the Gateway Gators was Tyrell Miles. So now 2nd and goal for the Titans, but they're in no hurry as we near 2 minutes left in regulation, and the lead just 4. Gateway really staring at an 0-2 start right now. They need a huge play. Garner goes under center. Mitchell off the left side, and he's in for the touchdown. Now this time he bounced it left, and he has his 3rd touchdown of the night. 5 yards out for D'Angelo Mitchell.
Charlie, I want to see this replay. I love the kid's vision on this play. He literally almost stops right there, and then just, you know, I'm going to look. He was patient, found his spot, and he had a huge hole to get through. I love his vision on that play. Looked like a guy that's done it 1,000 times.
And he followed. You have to give credit to Johnson, his fullback, because he's been blocking. He kicked out on that particular play there, allowing Mitchell to walk right into the end zone.
Here's Kyle Griffin on for the extra point.
This important point.
And we get a whistle just as it was snapped.
There's a flag on the play.
Dead ball.
Encroachment on a defense.
Encroachment on the defense, so half the distance on the extra point.
You want to get this up to 11 points, and you're gonna force them to have a touchdown, 2-pointer, field goal, or 2 touchdowns in 153
with 1 timeout.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very Bruce Haley to you.
And the extra point by Griffin is perfect. So with 1:53 left in regulation, West Mifflin now leads it 22-11, 7 plays, 45 yards, 3 minutes and 32 seconds off the clock, and of course capped off by Mitchell's 5-yard touchdown run, his 3rd of the night. And what a turnaround. The way it's transpired, because again, remember, it's 8-0. Then Gateway comes out, great kickoff return to begin the second half. They get the field goal, it's 11-0, and to that point, West Mifflin had been pinned so deep all day they hadn't done anything. Who at that point could have envisioned reeling off 3 straight touchdowns like this? And Mitchell going loose.
There certainly wasn't a lot of sign that was going to happen. I agree with Bruce on that, Charlie. But one thing, word that's jumping out at me is the resilience. I think the flip side is saying, hey, look, we don't want to give any hope, and then giving them hope is to say, okay, we got to be tough here. We have to show our own resilience. And I give West Mifflin a lot of credit for that, and it started with their field position and them taking advantage of it.
Taking advantage of it, and you have to give Coach Brazo credit, too, because his team, he didn't allow his team to panic. When they were in a critical situation, down 11-0, he challenged his team, let's put a drive together, and they were able to answer, and then it just took off from there.
Right. They didn't have to go outside their offenses, I think we said, and that was critical. 11 kept it within focus, and it took a big drive, but they definitely, as we see in the second half yardage here, just dominated the second half.
218-63. And on the return, here comes Gateway back with it, slashing his way out across the 35-yard line and finally dropped there. Looks like it was Cameron Gloucester on the return. So now here comes the Gateway offense, down by 11 with only 1:49 to play. There you see Tom Nola on that sideline for Gateway, staring at an 0-2 start. Remember all those years with Claret, all those wins in a row. Wonder when's the last time he's lost 2 games in a row.
It's been a while. It really has been. He'll have his team back, but you look at this situation, they're going to spread him out in a 2-minute drill. He wants to see how his team finishes right now.
5 wide here. McNair, penalty flag flies. McNair's throw short and falls incomplete. But again, we did have a flag, and this is going to go against Gateway, and someone may have left early.
It's on offense. Illegal line. 5 yards.
Illegal line.
Earlier when we teased the game for next week, we had Beaver Falls at Beaver Falls, and I was going to point out that both teams were winning. Latasha, the lovely one, tells us right now that they both, if they won, they both certainly were winning decisively if they didn't win. And speaking of Clareton, which is an unavoidable conversation when you have Tom Nola here, they slowed down. They were only winning by 72 against Wilkinsburg, and they prevailed by 86. They edged them 86-0. Wow. They're going to put 100 on somebody.
1st and 15. Throw nearly intercepted. Getting both hands on it was Walker.
And they prevailed by 86. They edged them 86-0. Wow. They're going to put 100 on somebody.
1st and 15. Throw nearly intercepted. Getting both hands on it was Walker Bakewell, the junior. And boy, he's going to think about that one all weekend long. I mean, this one is right there for you.
Oh. He just read the quarterback's eyes the whole way. He just has to finish and catch the football.
Played well here in the last quarter, in the second half. He was more active in that linebacking crew again, particularly inside. They got to make plays.
He's going to be mad at himself. I mean, you're looking at the score, but people are they're going to tease him a little bit. You can't believe you dropped an easy interception. So that'll be fun to watch this week.
They don't do that, do they, Charlie? They don't get on you and watch it when you're breaking down films. You guys don't do that. 2nd and long. Here's McNair to throw. Here comes pressure. Boy, he just got it away. And incomplete. Trying to hook up with Arrington Johns. But McNair is going to feel that one. Boy, if you watch this one again, he never sees it coming, and it's right toward, I mean, it's right in his face, but he's looking downfield, and just as he delivered the football, he took the hit.
And that's one of those, you can feel the pressure coming as you're running out of time. That clock in your head is going off. You can see him, he's looking to his left.
Yeah, he never sees
He's waiting for it. 1,001, 1,002. You know you have to get rid of that football.
I love that Mikel kid. I saw him not only last year, Charlie, in the game. I came back to see them in their final game that they lost. I saw them play, and I really love the kid at field level, and he's had another good game tonight.
Here's a throw and a pick. They get this one. Maurice Johnson picks it off, and Johnson down to the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. Penalty flag behind this play as he takes it into the end zone, but there is a penalty flag down at the 24-yard line. It's a 47-yard interception return by Maurice Johnson, but it could be coming back with the penalty flag.
All I know is that the same guy I just talked about just a second ago, Kayshawn Mikel, did not look happy with himself.
Return. Block in the back, 10 yards. It's going to be West Mifflin's ball.
All right, so it's on the return. It's after the change of possession here.
To watch 35, either he did it or he saw somebody who did it, because the first thing he does is throw his hands up and then go with his hands back to his knees.
Right there. There it was, yeah.
35, yep. It was that sort of blur you saw left or right on that was a giveaway. Great shot by our camera guys. They're the best.
And Mitchell sees it too. You see Mitchell standing there in that shot there. I mean, he realized that he knew that one was coming back. But now West Mifflin with a 22-11 lead. The football and just a minute 20 on the clock. The goal here is just to run out the clock.
This is the one where you look at your scorecards and you say, okay, we're going to run a play. Let's see if the Gateway calls a timeout. If they don't call a timeout, you just kneel the ball and the game's over.
How good's that field, Charlie?
It's the best formation in football. Victory formation.
Gardner will hand it off. Play gets stacked up after a short 2-yard gain. That will be about it. That was Johnson who had the interception, and now he gets to run the football. He picks up 2.
That's it. That's the play you run. You look at Gateway sideline, see if they call a timeout. You want to know what? Okay, gamemanship there, and take a knee and go home.
That's it. It's impressive. I think that Gateway grew tonight. I think they'll grow from this. To your point, they had a shutout. They were up 11-0. Not put it away, but it was in their hands. They let it get away. They'll learn from that. But I think if you're Ray Brazo, you're feeling pretty good about the resilience of your own team.
And there you see Carlin Garner take the knee, and they will let the clock run out here. That will be the final play of this game, as the West Mifflin Titans are going to improve to 2-0. Now remember, last week the win at Uniontown was a conference game, so they're 1-0 in the Big 9. This is a non-conference matchup, so they'll be 2-0 overall and 1-0 in the conference. Gateway, as we mentioned, falls to 0-2, their first 0-2 start since 2006, as the clock runs out here and the players head out for the handshake after trailing 11-0. West Mifflin with 22 unanswered points as they win it.
When you look at it, Gateway's a young team. We talked about both of these teams being young, but one thing they're going to have to learn and take away from this game, you have to finish ball games. Just because you're up 11-0 and you're feeling good about yourself, you have, it's a tale of two halves.
Oh no, you're right. I mean, you're up 11-0, and you know, it was because of how they came out in the second half to get to that 3 points. And okay, a stop here, a stop maybe the next time, and it's a different type of setting. Game again, not put away, but when you allow a 60-70-yard drive, it happened a couple of times in a row, that changed everything. Boy, the numbers really reflect that as well, Charlie. Look at the rushing yards, 254 by West Mifflin. They totaled it 44 times. They certainly didn't get away from what they wanted to do to only 59 rush yards. Gateway with that quarterback situation unsettled. They can't feel good about that because that's where you want to lean on the guys up front.
Final score again, 22-11, West Mifflin over Gateway. When we come back, the Pittsburgh Sports Report post-game show. It's Xfinity High School Football Game of the Week.
Hi, I'm Charlie Batch. Here at the Best of the Batch Foundation, we know the importance of the internet.
I use it to do my homework.
We use the internet for everything.
That's why Comcast offers Internet Essentials. It brings affordable internet into homes that qualify, because your child can really succeed when you have internet in your home. So call 1-855-8-INTERNET or visit InternetEssentials.com.
At Panera Bread, our new flatbread sandwiches may be flat. The flavors are anything but. So whether it's taste inspired by the freshness of the Mediterranean or the smoky spice of the Southwest, or bold, adventurous Thai flavors, you always get flavor that's anything but flat, and always with chicken raised without antibiotics. New flatbread sandwiches from Panera, each 360 calories or less. Try one today.
Since 1984, Angel's Place has provided free childcare and other supportive services to parents who are low-income students. Our services include early childhood education, parenting classes, career exploration, tutoring, and much more. Our goal is to enable student parents to complete their education, secure lucrative employment, and become independent, successful members of our community. To support Angel's Place or for more information, please call 412-321-4447 or visit us online at angelsplacepgh.org.
All aboard for a ride into the past at the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum. Ride the rails on a 4-mile scenic tour. Check out the restorations in the car barn. Explore all the interactive exhibits and the museum store. The Trolley Museum is a great destination for your birthday party or play group. The Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in Washington County. Go to patrolley.org or call 724-228-9256. More than a ride, it's an experience.
Most people think the Y is a gym, but to me, it's so much more. It was where I made my first friends. And I got my first A with help from the after-school enrichment program. They taught me discipline and gave me confidence. And they do the same thing for millions of kids every day. The Y helped me achieve my goals and be so much more. You can help by giving to the Y.
Did you know that children who are deaf can learn to listen and speak?
I can listen and speak because I go to DePaul. I am deaf and I learn to listen.
At DePaul School for Hearing and Speech.
DePaul School for Hearing and Speech in Shadyside is the only school in western Pennsylvania that teaches children who are deaf or hard of hearing to listen and speak without using sign language. DePaul School prepares children from birth to age 14 for success in our hearing and speaking world. For more information, visit speakmiracles.org.
Tonight's Xfinity TV High School Football Game of the Week post-game show is being brought to you by the Pittsburgh Sports Report, Pittsburgh's premier sports publication. Visit them on the web at pittsburghsportsreport.com. And we welcome you back to West Mifflin. Bruce Sokolic along with Ellis Cannon and Charlie Batch. Let's head it back down to the sideline. Sarah Servetnik, she has the guest with us. Sarah?
Thanks, guys. Coach, huge comeback win for you guys. What were some of the key adjustments you made in the second half there?
Well, sort of like what I told you at halftime. We just weren't blocking the right people. I don't know if some of us got mixed up or nervous or whatever was going on, but we weren't coming off the ball like we're supposed to, doing our assignments, and we just weren't clicking. And came out the second half, and then they started doing it, and we start running the ball. That's sort of what we do best. D'Angelo had a great game, like he always does, both sides of the ball, and that's basically what happened. Our defense played really well and kept them off the board.
Speaking of defense, Gateway's defense has been really good this year. What did you feel like you did in the second half to get by them?
Well, just executed, that's all. And we played with some hard excitement and like we wanted to be there. Maybe we were a little nervous from them in the beginning, so. A lot of people always, when they drop down from Quad A, everyone's afraid of them, and rightly so. They had, great teams there, and they're a good team, so hopefully we won't see them again.
Okay, it seemed like there might have been a little cramping in the second half. Was heat a factor at all tonight?
Who's that?
It seemed like there was some cramping going on in the second half. Do you think heat was a factor tonight, the weather?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we had the same problem last week against Uniontown, and a lot of our guys go both ways and play special teams like whoa there, and in this heat, it's only so much you could eat, so many bananas you could eat to take care of that. So that the heat definitely played a big factor, yeah.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations on a huge win. Thank you. Thanks. Back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, Sarah, thank you so much. Congratulations again to Ray Brazo. 2-0 start for the West Mifflin Titans, 0-2 for Gateway, 22-11. The final score. Ellis, your thoughts?
Well, I think the thoughts are in the numbers. I mean, he, first of all, is absolutely right about the fact that they came out and executed so much better in the second half. They looked like they wanted to be there, to use his phrase. They came off the ball. We all talked about that through the game, and you could see it. The location led to it, that being the field position, and look at the final numbers. They ran the ball, Charlie, over 250 yards, West Mifflin did, to 59 by Gateway, so they became one-dimensional at best in terms of the visitor, but 316 to 149, they doubled them up in total yards for a team down 11-0. Lots of resiliency, and gotta credit those lines because they do, as he pointed out, play a lot of two-way guys, and they got better as the game went on.
And they were able to control the line of scrimmage like you talked about. I look on the flip side, they needed to create a turnover to stop Gateway when out of 15-11 point in the game. They were able to create the turnover and put points on the board to really put this game out of reach. So you have to give credit to West Mifflin both offensively and defensively.
Agreed.
Hey, guys, Sarah Servetnik has D'Angelo Mitchell. 3 touchdowns tonight. Let's send it back down to the sideline. And Sarah.
Thanks, guys. Huge win for you tonight. What did your coach say in the locker room to kind of make you guys come out in the second half as strong as you did?
He just really talked about our strategy. We was a little sloppy in the first half, but in the second half, when he talked over his strategy, we pulled it through. We just kept fighting, and we seen him like bent over, so they just kept telling us to attack and attack.
What does this comeback win say about the resiliency of your team to start the season? Is it?
We have heart. We're strong. We just got to come out every Friday like that, and we can do this.
Okay. Thank you. Yep. Thanks. Great win. Thanks. Back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, Sarah, thanks so much. What a player he is. So we talked about Jimmy Wheeler, who has been here in the past, and the numbers he put up. A lot of people like this kid a lot, and you can see why.
Well, I mean, he had 75% of the team's offense. Right. James Wheeler did. That's all. He had 75% of the offense. He had 4,000 yards his career, 2,600 last year, 30 touchdowns, and now we're seeing highlights of really what was now the new kid. And, of course, we knew that coming in. He was a slot guy last year. He ends up with about 175 yards rushing. Great move right there for the touchdown. And I think he's 100% right, Charlie. I thought that they came out a lot crisper in the pace. Seemingly picked up in terms of, you know what, we have an opportunity to attack a team right now that might not expect this from us. Again, field position lent to it, blocking lent to it, but man, they got that attitude that led to it as well.
And you can hear him. He talked about he saw Gateway's defense bent over, and they wanted to take advantage of that up-tempo pace, and they were able to continue to pound the football, and that allowed them to start turning those 2-yard gains into 8, and then you see them 47-yard touchdown run throughout this game.
That's right.
22-11. As, well, Gateway, an 11-0 lead, turns into a loss. They're 0-2 for the first time since 2006. And, of course, Tom Nola, all those wins at Clairton, long time since he's had 2 in a row.
Yeah, he's won a lot of games between Clairton and Sarah. One thing he said last week after the game, guys, was that we bent defensively but did not break. They lost, but, of course, they gave up 3 field goals, and they had the defensive touchdown. But they broke tonight. They broke in the second half, and particularly they got worn down by what I thought was superior play up front, and ultimately great execution by the running back.
And when they go back and they look at film study, they'll realize there were players out of their gaps allowing West Mifflin to exploit some of those things. And they're not that far off. So when they go back and watch the film, they take all the emotions out of it, and they take honest criticism, they can get better, and I have to expect them to get better as they move on.
And it's a non-conference loss. I mean, it's not to minimize it. Bruce has mentioned many times 0-2. You don't want to be 0-2. But it's a young team. It's a team that looked to me like they actually took a step this week compared to last week, even though defensively they were very strong last week. Greensburg-Salem, this is a better team. Offensively, West Mifflin is, and I thought that their defense, again, it gets beat, but, they, as a whole, I thought they improved.
They do, and I think both sides of it. I think West Mifflin, they'll continue to grow 2-0, but it still gets in that mindset. You don't want to be 0-2. So now you're going to have to sell his team, hey, we're not that far off. We can turn this thing around.
All right, that will do it. Again, West Mifflin wins it 22-11 as they come back from an 11-0 deficit in the second half. D'Angelo Mitchell with 3 touchdown runs to spark the victory. Well, for Ellis Cannon and for Charlie Batch and for all of our crew here tonight, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it on the Xfinity TV High School Football Game of the Week.